What's good, everybody? It's your boy SJK,
Well,
the first like Super Saiyan to ever on this planet, and I'm back here with another stream. We were supposed to do this during Captain America, but Captain America seems to have taken out the Nerd Man, but he has been
soporific.
revived.
So basically, at the same time, me as heroin, it just like I was like, put me to sleep.
Look,
Yeah, we didn't
because
even talk about Captain America. Like,
I was gonna see if you want to recap it before the Flash spoiler stream. Me and Sean agreed that the first 20 minutes of that movie is solid, but the rest is like the first 20 minutes though, up until he gets to Alaska, solid.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I still think that as bad as the Red Skull was, he had some things that were superior to the new Red Skull. There were elements of his characterization that I enjoyed more than the new Red Skull in the MC movies. Like, I just think his whole manner, like the way he rolled, like was a little bit more what would you call it? Like intimidating. You don't agree? I could see you don't agree.
Oh no, I mean Red Skull. Aside from that weak Cap adaptation, Red Skull is the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
That Captain America.
I love the origin. I love the he comes in, he's an intelligent boy, and they just kidnap him from his parents while he's playing like Mozart or some shit. And then
Right.
That kind of stuff. I think that's more comic accurate, actually, funnily enough. But the problem is, like, I don't know what they were thinking with the Captain America. Like, it's nothing like Captain America. He's like running out of like cars so he can steal them.
Yeah, it was. That
It's
was not
very
the right
weird.
characterization.
But I'll say this. This is the one thing. I don't like it with Harley Quinn, and I don't like it with Captain America. It's that as soon as they get their transformation, because it's not Harley Quinn doesn't get powers, but as soon as they transform, all of a sudden they have become like really, really good fighters. Like
Yeah.
like martial artists, this kind of stuff. And I'm like, why? And I just think they'd be more interesting characters. I think Harley Quinn would be more interesting if you found out how she trains to become like this sick.
I mean, she's an acrobat. I'm not saying it, but as far as like her agileness, I mean, she was a gymnast in high school.
Who said that? When did you read that? Because I've never seen that. That's what I would like to see. And then I would like to see also how she becomes such a badass fighter, because she's not just a gymnast, she's a badass fighter as well. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say she's a badass fighter. I mean, she can fight.
She's not one of the top in DC. I'm not saying she's like mid level in DC.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would say she has some plot convenient skills that gas her up too much. But as far as like her being agile, her gymnast stuff, I mean, I can take that. I mean, I see what you mean, because it's like when Peter Parker got his powers, right? Prime example, Spider-Man 1, right? Even though he got his powers, he wasn't like immediately like martial artist, because the punches he was throwing was like punches me and you would throw. Right. Like if you was not trained in a specific combat style or whatever, you're throwing like haymakers and stuff.
That's how you'd fight. You'd fight like Spider. And the thing about Spider-Man, which makes sense, is that with Spider-Man, not only is he not like some great fighter or whatever, but he actually has those spider senses, so you can understand why he's ducking and dodging. And
good, Daniel.
With the spider sense, he's ducking, dodging, and being able to do all those things. And he's also super agile because of the spider you know, what the spider stuff.
Fire
So
powers, yep.
Spider-Man, I've never really had a problem with, like that he doesn't become a great fighter. He just becomes like super agile, and also, you know, he dodges and he can duck and dodge things because of his spider sense. But specifically with Harley Quinn, as I said, like I find that weird. But also with Captain America, I've always thought I'd love to see a version of him where he's more like not in attitude, but in
Well,
fighting.
I'd say even
Like
in the first
John McClane.
Avenger,
You know, like John McClane.
yeah.
You know, where it's like he's diehard. He's just like, so when he says stuff like, you know, I can do this all day, right? He actually means that because he's not like some great fucking fighter. He just is got that gumption. He's still got that thing that kid had, you know, when he was skinny, where he'll just keep going because he believes in what he's doing. You know, I think that makes more sense to the character. You see what I'm saying, or you don't see what I'm saying?
Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that he keeps on fighting because he believes in what he's doing, rather than
Even though he may not be fully equipped to do so, it's his will to keep fighting and pushing that's going to, you know, help him potentially win,
yeah,
or you know.
rather than being some sick martial artist. I
Well, I would say even in the first Avenger, like it wasn't really until Winter Soldier. Well, I say Avengers 1 when you started seeing them doing more like martial arts stuff. In first Avenger, I mean, I
in
thought his
first
skills was like, man, his skills was they was moderate.
no, in first
But
Avenger,
he was a U.S. soldier. Like they teach you basic like
no,
basic
not
grapples
like,
and all that stuff.
not like that. He was like he was a full on martial artist. I don't know what
I
he
would
was.
first
No,
second movie I agree, but first movie nah, he was still basic. I
the
mean,
way he was doing with
because in the U.S. Army they got to teach you those skills. They're gonna teach you some form of martial arts.
all right, I'm gonna show you
They're not,
Captain America.
you're not gonna become like no martial art like you're not gonna become a Bruce Lee in the army, but they are gonna teach you some martial arts techniques in combat. To, you know, for example, if you need to strangle somebody without killing them, they're gonna teach you the proper way to do so without
Sure,
killing them.
sure. I get what you're saying, but like I'm telling you,
He wasn't one of the best soldiers, but he did have to learn that stuff. He did go through the boot camp.
But anyway, one thing I appreciated about the movie was that he wasn't some you know, like straight away like this great fighter.
Yeah, his skills is like, well, they
No,
did. Well, okay,
look,
because what this is the part that was a little bit confusing. Because I remember when he went off to become a soldier, right? Was he already a soldier prior, or was he just jumping into the army?
do you mean in the movie we saw yesterday?
Yeah.
I think he was a soldier already. They chose him.
Okay, because I was a bit confused. I was like, is he just going into the army? I'm like, it's kind of quick. They just made him Captain America.
I don't know exactly why they chose this guy though, because he didn't seem all that great. Like he didn't seem to have the lofty, you know, morals of Captain America. But I'm watching Captain America 1, and yeah, the fight choreography isn't as good, so it doesn't look like, you know, he's this
Yeah,
amazing martial
because
artist.
he's kind of like if you look at it, he's just heavily reliant on his strength, that shield, and
No, he's
really just
still,
using his agility.
I'm telling you, man, he's still looking like a boss out there on the streets, bro.
Yeah,
Even in
he's you know, super soldier. He the GOAT. And
look,
it
look,
is Captain America. It's Captain America.
look.
You always gotta look fly.
Share the screen quickly. I'll just show a quick little fight scene from Captain America.
I didn't even like this fight scene like that. It was okay.
Wait.
Dude, that
The
Captain
fight
Red
in
Skull fight sucked.
America 1 was not good. But look at this, all this stuff. Even wow, his bike is better than Batman's, bro.
Yeah, like he's really just his strikes and stuff are basic. Because a lot of the stuff he's doing is enhanced by that strength.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Because like you just throwing a guy, he blocks it, kicks. Winter Soldier, he was fighting way better than this.
Look! Watch this fight scene. Come on, bro. He's doing like fuck.
Yeah, he learned that in the army, man. He's a soldier. But to be fair, to be fair, because this movie,
look at Red Skull is like a proper expert, like fighter, and he's taking on Red Skull. Like,
I'll be honest, this fight choreography wasn't even that good to show off both their skills. Like, not even Red Skull. Like, Red Skull should have been. It should have been a little bit more of a fantastical fight on both ends, but we saw that the fight choreography got way better in the second movie. But I'll say this, because the first movie of Captain America First Avenger, they don't really make it clear how long his, like, when he started his cap and when it ends, because World War II lasted from 1940 to 45. No, 39 to 45.
It started 39 or 30.
And it ended 45.
Ended 44.
I think it was 45. But they don't really show, like, because he could have been Captain America for like maybe a year. Or like it could have been 6 months. So it doesn't really tell you. I mean, it could have been 3 days. Who knows? I don't know, but it was clearly enough time for him to establish himself.
45. You were right.
45.
Yeah. September to September. But yeah, look, I appreciated in this movie, the first one, the 90s one, that even though I know it was just done because they didn't have any fight choreography whatsoever, but it seemed like he was more just a normal fighter. All that happened was his strength was increased a little bit, and he was taken to the peak of human potential. Whereas Captain America in these MCU movies is way beyond peak of human potential. Like, that's not human. Like he should be as strong to me as the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be half as strong as the Hulk. That's what I don't understand. He shouldn't be on Spider-Man kind of levels. But like, maybe they've changed that in the comics as well.
I mean, Spider-Man is still supposed to be strong, but
Spider-Man should be way stronger.
Well, no, because
you
see that? Let me show you the panel.
Spider-Man has an exact, because his strength is proportional to a spider's, which is to a spider, the strength is like supposedly like 12 times that of a human being, right? But then you multiply that by how large he is as well, right? Like, because human beings are obviously bigger,
larger than spiders.
Yeah, so so proportionally, what a spider can lift at its size is 12 times what a human being can lift at its size, and that is just taken to an even greater extent because he's obviously human size. So Spider-Man should be way, way stronger.
He is. I mean, Spider-Man in the comics could stop a train just like he did in the movie.
Right. So
Captain America has not. I mean, we haven't seen him do that. But I swear, let me find it real quick. I swear,
helicopters. He was doing all kinds of crap, man. This guy was on. Like,
I mean, a helicopter. I can give him that.
Dude was almost on Wonder Woman levels, bro.
I can give him that for a helicopter because he can lift up a car. He can still lift up a car. I mean, if he can lift up a car, he should be able to handle a
No, he
helicopter.
shouldn't be able to lift. I don't like. That's what I don't like. I like it because otherwise they're all the same. They all just blend into the same thing. It's like Spider-Man's like Captain America. Captain America's like Black Panther.
Right,
You know, it's like that's one of the main things I don't like about the MCU. It's like they all have the same powers and abilities and skills, and people are calling these guys superheroes. They're not. They're just agile, strong, like
yeah,
Black
you can lift up a
Widow.
car. Well, I mean, but he has to sell the super. Like he can't be a super soldier and not do stuff like be able to pick up a car. I mean, he has to stand out from regular people because you can't really call him a super soldier if he's not doing nothing super compared to.
No, I'm saying he has peak. So he should have the peak level of every human being. Like, so peak speed, right? So take the fastest human being. He should be as fast as
He's faster than Usain Bolt, yeah.
Just a little bit faster than Usain Bolt. He should be stronger than, the strongest man in the world. Just a little bit stronger than the strongest man in the world. A little bit more agile than the most agile gymnast. That's still pretty, hardcore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You still could do a lot with that. I just don't think, he's almost got healing powers, doesn't he? You shoot him and now he heals faster as well. It's like,
no, he actually has a slow ass healing factor. Him and Spider-Man's healing factors are slow as hell. Like they are slow. It'll probably take them maybe a whole day just to heal. Let's say Spider-Man got shot, by 2 bullets, in the shoulder, right? And if he didn't want to go to the hospital because he really can't, because he's gonna expose identity. I mean, he can get somebody to remove the bullets, but the wound probably might take a day to heal. At best,
no,
it's nothing like Hulk or Wolverine.
The movies, that's not the case, bro.
I remember. Now he got shot in. He got shot in Winter Soldier and was in the hospital after Bucky shot him 3 times.
When?
Let me show you.
I don't remember that shit.
It was at the end of the movie, the hospital scene. Let me show you. Well, you remember the final fight where Bucky shot him, right?
I don't remember the final fight.
All right, let me show you the fight. He shot him 3 times. All right, guys, doing a flashback to the good old MCU. A perfect universe. That's not the fight. Right here. Let me full screen it. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit to the part.
Yeah, just skip to the bit where he shoots him. I just want to.
All right, so right here, you gotta watch it. He's gonna shoot him 3 times in the body. 1 shot. Oh, let me find the other one. He shoots him again.
See,
wait.
He's shot. He should be shot. Do you know what I'm saying? He's still running around like it doesn't even matter.
But that's his enhanced durability that keeps him going. His stamina, his endurance.
So he's basically he's basically
I mean, if this was Batman, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but this is he's enhanced.
Yeah, but not enhanced to that extent. Look, I used to read like some Red Skull comics and whatever, but like my main he's in hospital now.
Yeah, this is the final scene in the movie, him fight. So like I say, his healing, he doesn't instantly heal like quickly. His is very slow.
Okay.
So I thought so that's that's the defect and drawback of his enhanced strength and all that. Wouldn't the super soldier serum doesn't give you the instant healing like you would get it from Hulk. Even though even though in the MCU Hulk technically is a gamma super soldier because he used the same serum Steve had in the first movie. So
did he?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. I don't think they don't really explain the Hulk's powers properly in the MCU.
Right. Well, in the Incredible Hulk, when Ross has remember the stuff he gave to Blonsky? That's the same stuff that they so and they made it a combination of the super soldier serum and gamma radiation for the Hulk.
All right, okay.
So really he's just a gamma radiated Captain America.
Oh, I see. I didn't get that. I just thought he overexposed himself to gamma radiation, and then they said to Blonsky that they've got something that will level it out with the Hulk, and they gave him the super soldier serum, and it really didn't, because obviously Hulk should be able to beat the crap out of Captain America. Really, like that's what it should be. But I don't know if that's the case. Like watching these films, I feel like Captain America could probably beat up the Hulk. The way they are anyway. But anyway, should we get on to
reviewing the goats? Which one you want to hit first?
Might as well do Wonder Woman because I've got it.
I got it up here.
Well, I've got this version, so I can give you a little bit of the story before, because you just got into the fight basically. So
all right, guys. Real quick, so everybody sees what the cover is. So this is the comic that we're about to cover real quick. This is the comic I read, but Nerman's about to get backstory to this. There's Wonder Woman and her greatest battles.
So the one that I enjoy most is her versus the Gorgon, and it's
I like the Gorgon fight more than the second fight I saw.
Yeah, the essentially, so I gave him the greatest battles basically, which shows different comics put together, like of different battles of Wonder Woman, but the two fights that you saw were from this series of comics by Greg Rucka, when he was originally on the Wonder Woman comics in like early 2000. And he, for me, I think Greg Rucka all in all did the best with Wonder Woman. Like he crystallized and clarified what I feel they should, like the best elements of Wonder Woman, and put them all together. And unfortunately, because it's not Batman,
right?
The writers of Wonder Woman are very stupid quite often, and they don't pick up
what's good, bro.
That's why, like, Wonder Woman, if you ask, oh, what's her job, what's her city, what's her villains, it's all very, very confusing, because each writer comes in and instead of going, oh, let me take the best elements of like the Wonder Woman runs and put it all together and then move on from there and make my own story from there, they just like reshuffle all of her her supporting cast, create whack villains for her, like doing all of this kind of stuff. Whereas
so basically just keep coming in, kind of inserting too much of their own stuff instead of sticking to what, like, not saying they can't add to it, but they're adding stuff into it when it's like, okay, there's already something established that you can actually use.
Yeah.
To continue it. Like instead of dropping an idea, still take this idea, enhance it, and flesh it out.
Right, exactly, and do your version of it. And I think that's why Batman and Superman are just so much more successful. I think they do that to a lesser extent with certain of the male characters as well in DC. And that's why I'm always saying, like, you know, people want to treat other DC characters like they're Batman and Superman when it comes to the movies. They're like, oh, you know, they didn't do the classical version of these characters. Right. And I'm like, there is no classical version of these characters because for ages, you know, Flash, Green Lantern, all of these guys didn't have like very stable mythologies because, again, you know, each writer comes on and kind of like does their own thing. But Wonder Woman, it's like
for example, Jeff Johns, while I still need to read his run, he done some tweaks to the Green Lantern stuff that really helped elevate it for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
And even brought in people that wasn't huge fans of Green Lantern. It was, you know, Jeff Johns was a big reason for that.
Yeah, because he goes back and he takes the elements of the character that are good and he keeps those, and then he builds on top of that. That's what Jeff Johns does really well. Whereas a lot of, so this is the comic it came from. But in any case, Greg Rucka does this kind of run on Wonder Woman. And that's where you had the Superman fight and you had the fight against the Gorgons. Yep. So this was the kind of story that it came out of, which was called Eyes of the Gorgon for the Wonder Woman fight. And I
thought really good art too. The art was really.
I thought this should be the things that they're kind of adapting for Wonder Woman, because it's kind of dark and modern, but it still keeps really to the spirit of what Wonder Woman is as a character. It doesn't compromise her to make her cooler or more relatable or anything like that. It just sticks to, you know, Wonder Woman. She's heroic. She believes in people, you know, she, you know, like that kind of thing. So Greg Rucka did that for me the best.
Yeah.
So I'll skip ahead to the actual fight, or just before the fight, and you can tell me what you made of it. Ooh.
I thought the coolest thing of the fight was, Wonder Woman. You know, because mind you, I didn't have the context of it before I went into it. When you get into it, straight into the fight, I didn't realize she was fighting blind for most of the fight.
Yeah.
And I, you know, because you see her coming in with the helmet on, and I'm wondering why she got this helmet on. Like, what the, you know, it's probably like, oh, you know, she wants to, you know, do it with honor, you wear the proper armor and stuff. It's traditional, all that. No, she was blind all the time, but she didn't want her enemy to actually see that and realize it just yet.
Right. Exactly.
But like I say, that fight was a lot more intense to me than the Maxwell Lord fight, because the fact that the whole world is watching Wonder Woman in this battle to the death, fighting this Gorgon, and you see some people, they first the citizens, and this is what I say. This is what I like how Shazam 2 did, some parts of Miss Marvel, like seeing the people's reaction to these heroes doing things like these heroic things or standing up for the greater good. Like you get real personal with the people they're saving. It's not just a scene where, you know, the hero just I don't know, blows out a fire. Right. Yeah, we know he blew out a fire and saved the people in the building, but can you show the hero saving the people in the building? So I did like that. about this comic, showing the people's reaction to Wonder Woman, you know, fighting this Gorgon. And then the people also cheering her on, like, "You got this, girl. You got it."
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that.
No, exactly. But so the fight begins. This is what you didn't see. So the fight begins because like they're planning to avenge the Gorgon sisters basically are planning
Yeah,
to avenge against the gods because they killed one of their husbands or something like that. Like I think it was what's the sea god? Um,
Poseidon.
Poseidon, exactly. So they have this kind of vengeance where they want to take take on the kind of avatar of the gods, which is basically Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's dealing with all of this kind of political crap because she's the ambassador of,
Princess.
well, she's
What
the
she part-time princess at this moment, or is Hippolyta alive at this time?
So what's happened? There's a whole bigger story where Themyscira has moved, right? So Themyscira is now on the border of America. So there's like this big like kind of thing of the Americans kind of worrying about like what Themyscira is trying to do, and there's like Wonder Woman is basically the go-between America and Themyscira.
Right,
So
that mediator.
kind of like, yeah, she's acting as ambassador. She's got the Themyscira house, which is basically like her, Bruce Wayne Manor or something like that, right? Like it's the equivalent because she has like a bunch of staff who are her supporting cast who basically work as her aides because she's basically a politician, which is what Wonder Woman should be, right? And the Gorgon sisters break into this place and they turn these two boys here who are essentially huge fans and are in love with Wonder Woman. So they're huge fans of Wonder Woman and they're in love with her. And they, as you'll see,
I'm gonna go over icons soon, bro.
turn them to stone. Essentially, they turn the boys to stone, right? And that's where Wonder Woman goes nuts, basically, and gets like pissed at them. And then we're gonna.
Them Gorgon sisters was hot too. And this is another thing that I do. I don't know how anybody could like read comics and still complain about the over sexualization of these characters when it's like it's literally part of the culture of comics that characters are drawn in these certain ways because it's just part of the culture of comics. Even the male heroes they got these tight ass clothes that show their six packs and all this stuff and their bulges. It shows them in a very sexual way too. Here is more characters over like Power Girl, for example, but that was because the artist was doing it to pick at DC because they wasn't paying them or whatever. But still, this.
And you see here, this is how Ares basically should look. Which is what Patty Jenkins really should have gone with.
I thought, hold up, you remember that animated Wonder Woman movie from 2007?
Yeah.
I feel like Ares should have looked more like that. Like with the pale, I think he had like pale skin and let me bring it up. Like he didn't look like a demon or whatever, but he didn't look exactly normal. Here, let me bring it up right here. I thought this was a better looking Ares than the one we got, anyways. This one in 2007.
I think that was a better looking Ares than the one we got in the
yeah, like as far as the actor goes, not the armor, but as a look.
Yeah. I think that it was a better looking look than the one we got in the movie, but I still prefer the comic book look.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like take the comic. I'm not like take the comic book armor, but the actor should have looked something like this guy here. You see what I'm saying? Like the actor should have looked like something like this dude, like a actual like someone that you can believe is the god of war.
I think they should have got what's his name from Game of Thrones, the Jamie Lannister. Should have got Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones. He would have been perfect for Ares. And then he goes into this suit basically. Because if you look at Ares, he's a mix between what you're talking about in the cartoon. Yeah. If you see him without the clothes, or without the armor.
But I agree. The armor should have looked more, something like this, not just some plain, parts.
So here we go to the fight. Yeah. And this should have been in film. This should have been what Patty Jenkins did for the next movie. Like, she should have built up to, instead of doing Cheetah, which was the obvious thing to do, I would have stuck Cheetah in the Suicide Squad or something like that, and just had her battle like the Gorgon sisters. Like, you could even have done a thing where, like, there was a fight in the beginning of the movie between her and Cheetah or something like that.
Right. Just like with Batman and Scarecrow in Dark Knight.
Yeah, like just the beginning thing or whatever. They have a little fight. She puts her in prison, and then we go straight to a story about the Gorgon sisters. And then this, for me, is one of the most badass things I've ever seen a superhero do in any kind of comic or any kind of medium. And I think,
like I said, this
played well in a movie, especially. So, go on. Do you want to set it up?
Well, real quick, this is why I said I kind of agreed with Jaded when he was like, the Maxwell Lord fight. When you showed me this, I was like, damn. And then when I look at the Maxwell Lord fight, I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But this Gorgon fight, this was fucking dope. I don't know about that Maxwell Lord fight. It was kind of, it was aight.
But did you see the her versus Superman?
Yeah, I read the whole thing up until she kills Maxwell Lord to save Superman.
Yeah, well, we'll go over that after. But
so Ares is just being a mediator right now for the fight. Yeah. He's just hosting it.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have any ulterior motives at the moment. He's just like literally just hosting it.
Ares always has the ulterior motives in Wonder Woman, so he does have an ulterior motive, definitely.
Okay,
but he's at the moment, he's one of the pantheon of the gods, like, so he's the war god. So any battle, it goes through him.
Yeah, okay. I figured it was more of that because I was wondering if Ares was going to do something in these panels, if he was going to do something to disrupt the fight or give the Gorgon sister an edge in the battle, but nah, he just sat there and was just hosting the fight.
Yeah. Whoa. There's some like pure brutality in this. Oh, where did it go? I hate this.
Yeah, that Kindle. If you go too fast, it freaking that Kindle gets annoying. Yeah. It's cool for reading on, but I think because the app really only works better on like mobile devices, and it's not really meant for desktops. But see, like I like this up until this point when you have all the pretty much everyone watching. Even they didn't show the Justice League and stuff and the other heroes watching, but they showed all the citizens of the world watching Wonder Woman in this fight. Whoever's on TV, whoever has a TV, they're all watching this big fight right now.
I kind of messed up, so I'm going kind of backwards.
It almost kind of reminded me of the you haven't seen it, but in Dragon Ball there was a fight between one of Goku and the villains, and is being broadcasted to the world. And the characters fight so fast, everybody's like, mind you, it's a fight to the death to decide the fate of the planet. and everyone's watching the fight. They're like, man, this fight is bullshit. It's not entertaining. We can't see nothing. But the characters are, in reality, they're fighting. They're just moving so fucking fast that nobody can see the fight.
So yeah, ooh. So all right, we start from when she. Oh.
Honestly, man, in the new DCU, this would be the perfect Wonder Woman suit. Honestly,
yeah, I love the suit as well.
Like the because it's, I forgot what they call those, but the, what's that part? It's not a skirt. It's not a skirt that she's wearing. Because if they make
it is it's like a battle skirt or whatever they used to.
But they don't call it like it because it's because that's not it's worn. It was worn by Romans, and Greek soldiers and stuff. But it wasn't.
No, absolutely.
But something like this would be great for the DCU. It'll be a perfect blend of classic and modern.
Right. So this is where the fight kind of goes from, where like basically she's got the helmet, and the Gorgon is trying to get her to like essentially like look at her so that she'll turn to stone.
Right. And but then she doesn't realize Wonder Woman's not even looking this whole time. Well, she's looking, but she's using her senses, her other senses, to win this fight.
Right. And this is what I love about this version of Wonder Woman. It's like it purely like goes off her battle skills. Like she is like a proper warrior in this. Like obviously she's got her powers, her super strength and all of that. But when it comes down to it, she's just a fantastic, like actual combatant, like fighter. So yeah, like you see, basically she was blind the whole fight.
Right.
Uses this to get the advantage.
What the fuck?
And then we'll talk about it after, but I'll show everyone like the kind of conclusion of what happens. So there's all this, like scale fighting.
Straight up murdered her ass too.
Yeah, because she kills when she has to.
But I think that's because when we got this movie version, I think that's what people like. People just want her to be like murderous and kill every single body. Like, okay, in Wonder Woman 84, when she was fighting a lot of regular people, like, I don't think she needed to kill those people in the White House.
No,
like exactly. There's people that wanted her to kill more in the movie. I was like, but she don't need to. She does not need to take it too far with people that are like so much weaker than her. I can understand her killing a Gorgon because you look at what this thing is trying to do. It's power.
Basically, yeah, it's trying to get everybody to look through the TV screens, and then once they look through the TV screens, it's going to turn the whole city to stone. So she has to stop her from doing that, and to do that, she does one of the. I still can't think of a more badass thing that a superhero has done, and if this was in a movie, it would have been awesome. So she literally takes the snake from Medusa's head and uses the venom to blind herself so that she can win the fight. Because not only does Medusa have like the power of like, strength and, fighting abilities and whatever in this version. So she's got like pretty much Wonder Woman level strength and all of that kind of stuff. But she can also seduce you into looking at her.
Yes.
So Wonder Woman blinds herself, cuts her head off.
But see, it's smart because her mind isn't really going to pay attention to whatever Medusa's doing because, mind you, she's in pain. She's focused. She's also trying to use her senses, use her hearing. listen to her footsteps, see where Medusa's moving and how she's striking. So overall, this was a pretty smart way for her to accomplish what she needed to.
No, absolutely. And so I would suggest, if you have time, read Eyes of the Gorgon. It's like anybody out there who wants to read a Wonder Woman comic. It there is some story before that it will be better to understand that comic through. So if you read it from, Greg Rucka's run from the beginning, you'll understand the story even more. But still, you can just pick up Eyes of the Gorgon and just have it's just a great read, like, of how you get to this fight, and all the politics and stuff that's going on. And it's like, how Zack Snyder was trying to do like Man of Steel, Superman.
Yeah.
This is basically that for Wonder Woman. Like, this is Wonder Woman. Like, what would Wonder Woman be like? And what would, if all of these mythical things were happening, what, and she was like a politician, and, having to deal with America and their fear of Themyscira and all of that kind of stuff. Like, that was basically what this whole kind of comic is about. And it's really good. It's got some great action. But yeah, so now you could tell me about the Maxwell Lord fight before we move on to Icon.
I thought, for me, like, this fight here, like I say, it was more intense. The Maxwell Lord fight, while Superman was beating the shit out of he was beating the shit out of Wonder Woman. He was fucking her up. She had no chance.
You feel like that? I don't feel like that.
A lot of that fight, she was getting her ass handed to her. It's not like she didn't. I'm not saying she didn't get her upper hand at some times, but when Maxwell Lord tricked Superman into thinking she was Doomsday, and that's that Injustice comic shit.
I'm gonna pull this.
They try, but
I agree with you. A lot of people see it like that, and I think she had Superman's number, basically. I think she was holding back. Not the other way around. So 52.
Oh, you think she was holding back?
Absolutely, I think she was holding back.
She might have been. I'm not saying she wasn't, but Clark was. I mean, he literally took her on a roller coaster. He took it through. He dragged her to space. She survived it. Tried to throw her into the sun. She knocked him back.
I'm gonna bring it up because this is an argument for the ages. I'm gonna show you why Wonder Woman beats Superman. Basically. Okay, so you're saying, so you think Superman won this fight, essentially?
Wonder Woman, I'll say this. Wonder Woman won the war by, stopping Maxwell Lord. But as far as that fight, Superman had the upper hand a lot.
Okay, so here's the fight we're talking about. I thought this was pretty intense as well, though.
Oh no, yeah, it was intense. But I like the Gorgon fight more. But this was also intense too. But I thought the Gorgon fight was even more intense than this. This was like, damn, Superman. This is the stuff that makes Zack Snyder cream in his pants.
Look, that blocks all of Superman's hits or laser blasts,
and then she takes him up to. He takes her up to space.
Takes her up to space. So I think at the moment he thinks she's Doomsday, right?
Yeah, she thinks he's. So Master Lord tricks Superman into thinking Doomsday is attacking Lois. Yeah. Like, he thinks Lois is dead, and he thinks that's Doomsday.
Yeah.
Basically the same basically whatever they did with the Injustice comic.
Yeah, but this comic did it way before and better. So look at that. Burns Wonder Woman's skin with his laser beams. She obviously
got her skin boiling and bubbling.
Yeah. Pokes him in the eyes, using again those warrior skills, obviously. So he flies her into the sun. This is what I don't get. Why people say that this. So this is Wonder Woman before the Zeus origin. Yeah, this is when she was given divine gifts by the goddesses, right?
Right.
So she had like wisdom of Athena and battle skills of Athena. She had heart and beauty from Aphrodite. Then she has like ability to talk to beasts or like not communicate with them, but like have this
Understand them.
animal empathy kind of thing with them. She obviously has super strength and speed from Hermes. And then yeah, flight as well from Hermes. So she was stacked before New 52, before the Zeus origin, and people are always like, "Oh, but making her Zeus's daughter makes her more powerful." I'm like, "You've never read a Wonder Woman comic. You don't know what you're talking about. She was way more powerful when she was the champion of the goddesses." So,
and like you said, she had to earn, like she earned most of her new abilities that she got anyways. Like the ability she had prior to New 52, she had to earn them, like kind of like how Hercules had to do his trials in order to he had to do those tasks. He had to earn it.
yeah.
So, yeah. He didn't throw it. Wait, let me ask this, because I think she would die. But if he threw her into the sun, she's instantly dying, right?
I don't know.
Wonder Woman can't handle the sun like Superman handles the sun.
Well, basically, I think that he took her close enough to the sun where she's clearly durable enough in this version.
Yeah, she's durable. Hey, I'm not saying she's not durable enough, but like, let's say if he legitimately like threw it, because Wonder Woman kept Superman from pushing her all the way in there, and he threw her back. But if he threw her into the sun, do you think she would have immediately died? I think she would have.
I don't know, but I don't think he could have thrown her into the sun. But again, I still think she's holding back. So he punches her into the earth. This should be like, you'd think game over. Not for this Wonder Woman. So see, Superman comes back down. She's laid out, gets up. Again, this could have been the third movie, bro.
Honestly, I feel bad for Wonder Woman because I'd be scared.
Yeah, no.
You throw me into the sun and you come back down. Oh my god! Like I said, this is intense. But the Gorgon fight, it was it's just.
But look what she does.
She fucked up his hearing.
Yeah,
I thought that was smart of her to do.
Like, even with his super hearing, because of how like trained she is, she can still sneak up on him.
Like I said, I think she got a couple shots in. Yeah, I don't think she was fully holding back. I think she was trying a lot and got some, couple hits in. She got some good shots, but then I don't know. I think Superman had it like overall, because, like I said, he's in a state where he's using his full power.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this thing too, people need to. This is why I say in Zack Snyder Justice League, their power level is messed up. This is Superman at full power. Wonder Woman is still hanging in there, even with Superman using all his full strength.
It should have been the Wonder Woman Superman fight. At least a little bit of this,
right? Because this was dope.
Yeah, but look at this. She calls on the birds because of her her animal
ability to communicate with animals.
Calls on the birds. But obviously, that doesn't do crap to Superman. It's just like it was just like a little distraction for her to get back to Maxwell Lord. I don't understand. Like, you might as well have just gone full on with Maxwell Lord if you wanted him as the villain and done this, like a Superman. Like he basically trick Superman. That could have been her second movie.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Well, I
Like,
think I think the DCEU invested themselves too much in that New 52 bullshit. Because I mean, look at the characters. Like Wonder Woman is modeled after her New 52 version. Superman has a lot of his New 52 influences in him in the DCEU. Ben Affleck's Batman, more Dark Knight Returns influence, but still there's so much New 52 influence over that universe.
well, luckily they didn't do way too much New 52 influence with Wonder Woman. I think Patty Jenkins kind of like crafted something between New 52
And the
the
old stuff.
70s TV program essentially, and maybe that animated movie as well. That's what I think she mainly influenced her. Like,
Try to
I
go
don't
for more
think
balance.
she read like Gods and Monsters by Perez, which everyone says that movie is based on. But okay, so here's where I disagree with you, man. She slices his neck, bro. She uses magic items and she cuts his neck, which
Yeah, she
means
got she,
if
she got
she
she
had
got a
a
couple
magic
hits.
sword, huh?
She got a couple
No,
hits. I wouldn't. I like I say
dude,
she's. I'm not
that's
saying
like
she's.
dead.
I'm not saying she's complete. But Superman had her on the run in this most of this fight. She was able to get some hits in, and she had to use some strategy in this
That's
fight.
because she didn't use deadly force, bro. If she uses deadly force against Superman, this is what happens. That's death. She basically cut only his neck, knowing like, oh, he'll be fine from that. But she could have taken off his whole fucking head. And if she had a sword, that would have been it. That's the problem with the whole Superman beats Wonder Woman's like argument. The problem is she's too OP. She's got like a magic sword that can cut through anything. That's it. That's victory. I'm sorry. That for me says Wonder Woman wins the fight.
Oh yeah, well if we talking that she won the fight, but we can't act like Superman was not kicking her ass for the majority of the fight.
Oh, George Foreman was kicking Muhammad Ali's ass for the majority of the Rumble in the Jungle, but that don't mean like he's a better fighter than fucking or like that he beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying Superman's better, but Superman was like, this is why I say yes. Maybe she was slightly holding back, but the way this fight was going, Superman didn't really give her a lot of opportunity to truly push back, right? So she had to do the stuff like this, throw her headband so she can cut him, or call on the animals. Because mind you, she threw him. She went to space, and she threw him back down. Like, I don't think she had even a moment to really collect herself and really get back at it. Because Superman is literally had, like I say, he had her on a whirlwind, had her just going all over the place.
Right.
So and that's what I said. She got a few hits in here and there, but she had to do strategic hits.
Superman can kill Wonder Woman clearly, easily. But if there's somebody who can beat Superman, it's Wonder Woman. There's like a few people. I think Martian Manhunter is a weird one because I don't see why he can't just beat Superman. Like, everyone goes on like Superman's just way more powerful than everyone, and I'm like, well, Martian Manhunter has identical powers except he can transform into anything and he's got telepathic powers. I don't see what Superman does against that. Even Flash is just ridiculous. Some of these guys are ridiculous. I mean, he can go back in time. He can do an infinite mass punch. He's so fast that even Superman wouldn't be able to keep up with him.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think for Flash, I think in my opinion, Flash should always be faster than Superman. Always.
Yeah.
Always. If Superman is even slightly close to his speed, it's like you kind of defeat the purpose of the Flash.
Right.
Because by that logic, Superman should be able to go into the Speed Force too.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it was. I thought again. I think if you read the whole comic, I implore people to give these comics. This one is Superman Sacrifice, but it's also in the Wonder Woman collection. So Greg Rucka was writing both Superman and Wonder Woman at that time.
Well, let me ask this, because
job of Superman as well, actually.
I did like Max. You know, in the while this fight's happening, Maxwell Lord is talking about how you know, the threats of superheroes and stuff, and seeing both them fight at their peaks. You're seeing Superman fight at his peak, which, you know, interested, but also puts some slight fear in Maxwell Lord. He's like, yeah, these heroes need to die. How do you feel about Wonder Woman killing Max at the end of this? Do you think she needed to do it, or it was like, was it really necessary? How do you feel about it?
She gets expelled from the Justice League because of it.
Right.
So,
but do you think it was necessary for her to do it, or do you think she should have just like did something else aside from just instantly killing? I understand why she did it, because she wanted to save her friend. Right, this is her friend, and Wonder Woman, unlike Batman, is like, okay, Wonder Woman's that friend in the friend group that the other two friends won't do it, but you put Wonder Woman in front of it, it's like, all right, I'll do it for you. You guys being punks, I'll do it.
Right, exactly. But
it's nothing malicious or bad intent. But she
asked him in the lasso of truth, "How can I stop this? What's the only way to stop this?" And he said, "You've got to kill me." So I don't see that. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't have any other options. I mean, she could have flown him away somewhere, like, really quickly. But then you've got a rampaging Superman who can't be controlled, like,
right,
you know, just wreaking havoc. So I think this is a really smart comic. Again, this should have been the thing that the DCU moved up to. Like, this would have been a great one. Like, this could have been Wonder Woman 3, essentially. Maxwell Lord tricks Superman into doing all of this kind of thing. And then Wonder Woman has to kill Maxwell Lord, and then the Justice League expel Wonder Woman because they've got that no-kill policy. Or at least something happens, like they're debating it or something like that. And then you have, like, the Justice League come in, and Wonder Woman's not on side because she's been, like, excommunicated or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, Superman's basically,
let's see. Well, let me ask this, because this can't be the first. This is not the first time Wonder Woman killed people in front of, you know, her fellow Justice members and stuff before. Like, why now did they, you know, kick her out? Because it's not as if she always kills. Let's make that clear. She doesn't always kill, but she will if she has to. And I know this is not the first time she has killed in front of Superman or Batman.
Well, I'm not sure. It's an interesting question, because she even killed the Gorgon sister, right? Like, she killed her.
And that was on public display for the whole world to see.
I can't remember because I read the comic so long ago, but it makes sense within the context of this series of comics, why it builds up to this situation where they're like, you know, because it was televised and everything like that. But beyond that, there's something in the comic that makes sense of this. And in this versions of Superman and Batman, they have a strict no-kill policy. Like, there's always another way. There's always another way we can find. And it makes sense from their perspective why they feel this, but it also makes sense from Wonder Woman's perspective. But I have to read
why she did what she did. And that's where you get into the moral, like, you know, you get into the that little moral conundrum of it. It's like, was she really wrong? This is why I say this is why some of these stories like this are good, because I can understand why Superman and Batman feel their way, and I understand why Wonder Woman did what they did. It's like, I can't really side with anybody. It's like, it's kind of just is what it is at this point type of situation. because you can't really like I understand how both sides feel, and I kind of agree. I agree with both sides, but I can't really pick a side to choose right now. But I agree with what Wonder Woman did more because it's like in this situation, unless if Wonder Woman got Max out of Superman's vicinity, then yes. If that would have stopped the mind control, then yeah. But it seems like that was not an option to stop this mind control.
That's
As long as Max was alive, the mind control is going to happen.
That's the sad thing about Zack Snyder, killing Zod the way he did as well. Because it really ruined certain story potentials.
Right.
Because like Zod's neck's already been snapped, so he even killed Zod in the way that Wonder Woman is supposed to kill Maxwell Lord, which is supposed to start off this big storyline.
Right, because that's something you can see. Let's say if they had a Trinity movie, right? And Zod was one of the villains in it. And Superman, just like in Man of Steel, was struggling to fight Zod and take him down. And Wonder Woman's like pushing him, like, you need to do it. You need to get rid of him, Clark. And he's like, no, we'll find another way. Then she goes over and snaps Zod's neck.
Right.
He might be mad at her for what she did, but you can see Wonder Woman stepping in to do that for him because he's not to say he's not strong enough, but he's not doing what it takes to end his fight.
And that would have been way better. That would have been the that could have been like the 6th movie or something like that.
That's why Norman, I always said in Man of Steel, since he always, I don't know, Zach could have changed his mind. I think it was because people started making a theory about the Martian Manhunter thing, and he made it that way. He literally could have just introduced Martian Manhunter into Man of Steel and have him, I don't know, put Zod in some type of comatose state or mind control him to make him stop doing what he's doing or whatever. Like Superman had to beat him down enough just to weaken him, and Martian Manhunter comes in, uses mind control, and stops Zod from doing what he's doing. Not at the beginning, but at that moment, to give Superman helps give Superman another way.
Right, exactly. There's always another, like, Superman could have, I don't know, there could have been some kind of Kryptonian help or something like that, where he discusses another being who could possibly stop Zod, who's on Earth.
As I say, they really should have put Manhunter in Man of Steel. It would have made even more money, but Manhunter should have showed up in Man of Steel to fight. He should have showed up there to fight. Not say you put him on the level of Superman. You could have made him slightly weaker, but really would have made for some a good way to start off the universe, start building up some stuff, connecting other characters together, and then you give Superman a way out. He finds another way, or Superman calls for Martian Manhunter, like while has Zod in the chokehold, he calls for him to come help and says, just make him brain dead or something, like do something else. Superman literally tells him to do something like make his brain go dead or make him think of this or something else.
Well, like they could have done a thing where Superman works out he's an alien when he does the X-ray vision of his, when him and Lois were essentially talking to each other about it means hope and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He could have looked into, he uses his X-ray vision to look through the one-way mirror, right? Yeah. He could have seen then that his anatomy is different from everybody else's and said, there's something different about you, isn't there, General? You know what I'm saying? And that's when the General kind of, you don't see it at the time, but the General has a psychic chat with Superman, right? And they're like, okay, all right, we'll keep it, and that's when Superman is able to call on the General to, like, he purposely brings Zod towards like where the General is, and then you get the reveal that he's Martian Manhunter. Something like that could have worked. I don't know. It's like I don't think they should have honestly introduced Martian Manhunter into Man of Steel necessarily. I can see what you're saying, and I think it's a good idea to do that. But
because I think it would have been because what I don't like is all these big events happening and like not even Manhunter not even showing up in Justice League. It's like, dude, you missed Doomsday, you missed Zod. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't understand why Wonder Woman wasn't helping as well. Like, it just doesn't really make sense. But that being said, yeah, we should move on to Icon.
I don't know how your opinions are gonna be on this, Nerd Man, but I think Brother Icon was preaching with his certain views. You know what we're about to get into.
Let's go to Icon. Do you have a thing, or should I pull it up?
Yeah, I got it up.
All right, cool.
All right, guys, this is Icon issue 1. It's only 26 pages. Shouts out Rocket, she's hot, but that's not the point. So, and this is what I wanted to ask you about because
can you do the close-up picture, or is that Kindle or?
It's Kindle.
If you double click, then you can.
Yeah, there we go.
So you can go to the beginning. So one thing I didn't understand is like there's an alien war or something, and he escapes.
Yeah, this yeah, because this is where I was like slightly confused too, because there was no. This is the only panel with any text in it where it establishes the year. So 1839. This is when his ship got attacked, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next panels is just the pictures, no words. You see some aliens on this ship. You see Icon right here. He looks he's escaping. He's an ugly alien too. Mm-hmm. And he jumps on the ship, heads off, and heads up, and he's in an escape pod, leaves, and he heads off to Earth. Crash lands into Africa. Right. And then comes out. Well, he doesn't come out yet. But as say it again.
He crash lands into he doesn't crash land to Africa. He crash lands into America in the South, right?
It doesn't look like the South. I mean, it might be. Well, this 1839. They probably
he crash lands into like the slave.
Yeah. He's in. Yeah. I'm tripping. He's in America. He's in the Americas. He's in Americas, guys.
This is what I don't get. So this is part of what I don't get about Icon. Reading the story, it's kind of cool and it's interesting, but I'll tell you what I don't get when we get there. So
I think for me, this was the most confusing part right here because not really explained. I still need to read the rest of the issues because they might explain this, but this was confusing because he just went from a full-grown alien to a baby when the guy touched the ship. Because when this person touching the ship is what caused him to change, and a laser beam in the ship hit the alien and turned him into a baby.
Right. Exactly. He was a full-grown alien, so that was weird. And then it turns him into a baby, like a human black baby, supposedly so that they will want to look after him, right?
Yeah, he chose to be a brother.
Here's the problem, okay? So you point out something that I even was like, I remember reading and thinking, oh, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, for me, this was the only thing about the comic I didn't like. That threw me off. I was like,
Do they come back to this in later issues and explore what happened to him?
I'll have to see. Like I said, I need to read this whole issue. I haven't read the whole issue. I read this first issue, but I have not read the whole issue.
You haven't read the entire series, basically.
No, I still need to read.
I thought you'd read the entire series because
I have read this issue before.
See,
that's why I recommend it for you to read it. Because I'm gonna be reading the rest of it.
I think this is really interesting, but my problem is, why would somebody who lands in like the slave owning South then live all this time and become a Republican? I need to know that story. I think, okay, fine, they're not going to explain it in the first issue or whatever, but even when I heard it, you know, just hearing about the character, I was like, okay, so you've been through everything that historically that you should understand why Black people have got to this particular situation in the world, and yet you become like a proper, not even like a mild Republican. He's like a full-on blaming Black people for their own problems, you know, that kind of thing, right? And it's interesting because in the comic, Rocket and a lot of what's happening in the comic is challenging his ideas, which
Right.
I like.
And that's why Rocket's purpose there is going to help him, because you have to factor in out, because once I'm reading more issues, that what I imagine is probably going to be, I feel like when he turned into a baby, he still retained like his memories and stuff, and like from the past, and he just like playing. He's like playing an act. You see what I'm saying? Like playing an act up until he gets older and stuff, just to live in peace and, you know, be able to you know, live in peace and not really worry about any
ideology
issues.
His people. Maybe it's part of the ideology of the alien race he comes from as well. Like maybe they're like have some kind of almost right-wing autocratic system or something like that.
I will say this. I'll say this real quick.
Yeah, go on.
I'll say this real quick, and I think this is why I do like Milestone Comics, as because even though it's a bunch of Black creators and stuff, you would think, right? It's not to say that I think they all have balanced views for the most part, but you would think even at this time that they wouldn't even like entertain, you know, any Black Republican, you know, ideas in their stories. You know, I was kind of thoroughly shocked that they would give a character like this some representation, you know, because not all Black people are liberal and think that way. Not all Black people are Republican and think that way. I was thoroughly shocked, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought they would have had a more Black liberal hero in place.
I like that aspect as well. My thing though is this isn't going to work as a movie. I know you and
yeah, I mean they're gonna make him liberal.
You and Killmonger are like, you know, bang on about this character. I wouldn't trust this character at all with Hollywood. They would mess it up so thoroughly and take out any of the things that are interesting about it, any of the questions that are interesting about it. Like the question I'm asking, like, why is a guy who's lived through slavery going to become like a super right-wing Republican? Does he get brainwashed by like the white slave masters to thinking? You know, like I want to know what brings him to that point, and that's an interesting question to ask. And then
because I do agree, they're gonna instantly, I wouldn't hope they're gonna instantly give him more of the liberal ideals. I'm not saying that those ideals are bad, not saying Republican ideals are bad. I'm in the middle on both, but it's not gonna make it really interesting to have this dynamic between Icon and Rocket if they're both pretty much already believe the same set of ideals.
They're going to do that. I don't even think they're going to touch politics. I think if they did this story, they would take out all of the politics and just make it, because essentially this story is just Black Superman. And that's what I don't want. You know, if you're going to do a Black superhero, have them have their own power set, their own, you know, make a Black superhero into a movie. I want them to have their own power sets, I want them to have their own mythology, their own story. You know, they can have Superman style powers, but like I want it to come from something different. Like say Shazam, that's fine. He's got almost Superman like powers, but it comes the mythology is so rich and different from Superman that you can distinguish it from Superman. Same with Wonder Woman, really. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When they have a mythology that is so strong, or even Martian Manhunter has a mythology that's really his own and it's very strong, and there's lots that you can do with it. Whereas Icon, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, alien found in you know, like
I mean, if you look at his origin, even though he's an alien from another planet, it's very different from Superman. So Superman's last of his people sent off by his parents to live on a world and grow up, and you know it's kind of up to him on what he wants to be and becoming his hero. Icon, I mean, that's what I say. I need to read more because they'll probably give more backstory to why he was being chased, why he was had to leave that ship and come to this planet. But you know, he's kind of just lived amongst them. And mind you, in this comic, he didn't. When Rocket is the reason he became a hero. Like he didn't entertain it until Rocket tried to convince him to do it.
I love the last panel. That's what I was going to talk about. The last panel where
with the police officers.
It actually, like so the police officers. He's like, don't worry, you know, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or whatever. Police officers are going to treat you the exact same. We're here to help. We're heroes here to help this situation. And then it turns out, no, Rocket's actually right. And he's way too kind of idealistic about the police. And the police just turn on him and like almost basically call him nigger. Like,
that's why. And look, Nerman, you got to give props. This suit is dope. You gotta get that suit props. This is dope.
The suit's dope. But I think this would work much better as a TV series. I really do.
That's why if they do this, the Milestone, you know, the editors at Milestone, they need to oversee this movie heavily. Not saying direct it, but they need to be in the writer's room of this movie or show because they're the only ones that will be willing to actually allow this character to be who they are and tell the story. And like I say, Warner Brothers is the only one that will possibly explore this.
Because without the studio, this story is boring. This story is Superman. Without the politics, this story is basically Superman. If you don't have Rocket,
similar powers, yeah, but I was saying it's different enough.
He's an alien who's escaped from space or whatever. He lands in
but he's not the last of his kind though.
South or whatever, and he's brought up by parents who teach him certain values, I guess. And then, you know, I'm telling you, if you don't have the politics in this story, it just doesn't work. Rocket and his ideologies clashing is what makes this comic interesting, and it is good. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Told you, man, brother. Icon was gonna get you.
No, it was a really good comic. I just don't. I wish they had have come up with a more unique place that Icon came from. Like rather than go with the whole let's just make a black Superman in terms of the basic premise of the story, if they had have done something where he derives his powers from something else, I think it would have worked better.
Well, once I read more, I'm not sure if you're gonna read more. They'll break it down more. But like I said, we didn't see all of his powers at this moment. We just seen he's bulletproof and he can fly. We haven't seen more of it. He's obviously probably super strong, obviously, but we don't know what extra abilities he might have under his belt.
Right.
And I don't know what other technology he's gonna have because I wonder what happened to that pod anyways. What they did with that pod, the escape pod he came in, because that escape pod itself turned him into it morphed him into a human. So I wonder if that he still has that technology with him and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, she said, but I bet this never happens to a Superman.
Right, exactly, and she's right. But
hey, to be fair, and yeah, you're right. But I bet this never happens to Superman. I like that I don't know if she's going to get any powers later, but so far I like that she doesn't have any powers. She's just a girl that's like.
But she's got some bulletproof suit or something like that.
Yeah, he gave her a enhanced suit, it can protect her. But as far as powers and stuff, she doesn't have any. She doesn't have any fighting skills or anything. She's just a regular girl.
Yeah.
But what I do, because I do want to talk about Rocket real quick. And I do notice this happens.
Rocket
with a lot of people. And real quick, I know this happens with a lot of people in our community, and that's what gets us in trouble. Peer pressure in our community is like really like there's peer pressure. Everyone gets peer pressure. We've all been it, but in our community, that peer pressure is really strong because Rocket did not really want to commit that crime. She wasn't even focused on committing the crime. She was more interested in his book collection than anything else. But she was there.
She would have. This is the thing. So this guy pulls out a gun and tries to shoot Icon.
Yeah.
Right. And that would get her done for murder. Do you know that?
Right.
Well, you know that obviously. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it like that. But like in the American, criminal justice system, if you're part of a crime and somebody gets killed during that crime, you get done for the murder as well. And I just think that's absolute nonsense.
The only way she'd get less time is if she really advocated that, I was just in the car, it was the rest of them. Like if she legitimately snitched, all she would get is less time. That's probably it. She'd get less time than the other ones than the guy who pulled the trigger. But she's still going to jail regardless for being associated with the crime.
There are people on death row for being part of it. Like they agreed, we're not going to kill anybody. We're not going to do anything like that. They go into a store or something like that. Somebody gets, crazy and shoots the person. And they basically didn't do any of that. Like they didn't want to do any of that. They just wanted to save the money or something like that, which is still bad. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I just think that those are two separate crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like you should still be tough on somebody. Like if you go in and you do some kind of armed robbery. So this is an example I'll give, right? They go in and do an armed robbery, right? But the person says, I don't want the gun loaded. The gun shouldn't be loaded. And they say, one of the people who didn't want to shoot anyone or didn't want to kill anybody has an unloaded gun.
Right.
So you can tell by the fact that their gun was unloaded or it was a fake gun or something like that, that clearly
they wasn't trying to kill anyone. They just want to give off an impression and putting fear in people without actually having. A lot of people do it. Like you've seen some people going around trying to mug someone. They'll pretend to have that little brown bag and pretend they're going to shoot somebody, or do the thing with the jacket, or they have the hand in their pocket, making it look like they have a gun.
Right. So clearly that shows that they have no intention to
kill anyone,
injure or kill. So to me, that should be taken into account. You can't just say because somebody was with them who's an insane person or a nutcase and they didn't know about that they are at fault equally at fault for the person's death.
Like if anything, Rocket should have got definitely in trouble for trespassing. Trespassing, yeah, because she did willingly trespass. But as far as if Icon was a regular human and that dude shot him and he died, Icon Rocket shouldn't be charged for the same crime of shooting a man. But trespassing, okay, I can see that because you did trespass.
What if like she calls the police? I'm wondering what would happen if, like, say something like that happened, and then the other person with the gun kind of runs away, right? Yeah. And the person without the who didn't want to kill the person stays, phones the police, says like this is something happened and it got out of hand, and tries to actually do CPR on the person. I'm sure that's happened before. I'm not saying it happens often, but I'm sure that has happened before.
I still think the only way she'd probably get a chance of getting off, she has to snitch on a dude that shot Icon. And this is not fact for sure. I don't think she'd be completely off because she's still black, right? They're gonna want to lock her up regardless for this, just to make her an example. But I guarantee she'd get less time if she snitched and actually told them, okay, this person did it, and they broke down what happened and that she made the call and she stayed here, tried to give him CPR and help him, all that. Because if she also ran too, that makes it even makes it harder on her part to prove her case.
If you run too, then you are an accessory to murder,
right?
Because you could have potentially saved the person's life if you performed life-saving, like CPR, maybe called the ambulance, made sure that the person, you could have minimized the blood loss, for instance, by putting, so there's things you could do. So in that sense, I do agree with that law. If the person runs and just leaves somebody to die when they know that they could save them. But I really do think that the law is that even if you stay there and try and save the person, they'll still like give you the like a maximum jail sentence. So there's just no
snitching will get her if she snitches. Well, yes, that's an automatic death sentence in prison. But at least she would get less time. I guarantee that she'd get less time than what she would probably.
Snitches in prison. I mean, they all snitch, don't they?
I mean, well, it's very much. A lot of people are biased when it comes to the snitching thing. Like if you have a friend that snitches, they're not going to care. But if you snitch on that person, if you snitch on them, then they're going to care. But if most people, if they have a friend and they snitch, they're like, well, you didn't tell on me, I don't really care.
Yeah, because I don't know how this whole. I think in American prisons, people snitch much more than.
Oh no, they do.
Organized, like criminal syndicate where, like, if you snitch on the boss or something like that, then you're dead. Like, I think if you just snitch on, like, you're a bunch of teenagers doing stupid shit and you snitch on one of the teenagers, I don't think like people in the prison are going to care like that much.
I mean, yeah, it honestly depends because, like I said, some people, they go to prison, that they'll want to size you up and see what you're about, if you're a punk or not. But if they do find out, because it's like when pedophiles go to prison, right? And we've heard these stories before. Most people, if they find out you're a pedophile in prison, more than likely you're gonna get stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
If they find out what crime you did and everything that's surrounded by, that's why some criminals, they probably don't even want to be honest about what they did, and they might lie and say, "Yeah, I killed somebody. I killed this dude." And when in reality, oh, you locked up in here because you raped some kids. You're not gonna tell that.
Did you see that Jeffrey Dahmer TV show, man? The way he got killed in prison was hilarious.
I have not seen the Dahmer show yet. It's on my list, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually, but they did a pretty good job of it, but at the same time, the way he gets killed is it's fucking hilarious, and he deserved it. The little fucking twat going around just killing fucking kids and shit. Anyway, yeah. So this comic was really interesting. I think the issues that it raises are interesting, but again, I'm just saying, I think this would be a hard pill swallow for general audiences who can't even deal with
Well,
even
yeah,
the
general audiences they won't be able to handle it. But I know for sure Warner Brothers is the only studio that would do a story like this.
absolutely.
Unless it's like some indie studio, but they're the only ones that would actually do this. Because Warner Brothers, in my opinion, they take more risks than most studios, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Even yes, they have fucked up and made a lot of mistakes, especially 2017 and all that. But look at their movies. Like even look at most like Joker. Prime example is a risk in itself. Yes, I know I know Batman's popular. I'm telling you, I would have thought doing a Joker origin movie was kind of silly. Like, why even waste the money? If Batman was in it, yeah, for sure. Let's do a Joker movie with Batman featured in it because you know it.
I feel a little bit sorry for Warner Brothers at this point because for years DC fans have been telling them explore other characters. You know, don't just stick to Batman, do other characters.
Right.
And then they go out and they try and explore different corners of the DC universe. Wait a second. So how many have they done so far? Let me think.
Of obscure characters.
No, outside of Batman, what have they done in terms of movies so far? They've done Aquaman,
Shazam,
Shazam.
Catwoman, Steel.
No. I'm talking about like
Modern day. Okay.
post DCU. Like obviously, Green Lantern was trash, so I don't. That's not, you know, the whole like that movie.
Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey.
No, Birds of Prey is Batman adjacent. I don't count that. That's Batman shit because it's got Harley Quinn in it.
Yeah,
so
she was.
Shit. So
Suicide Squad. I mean, that's connected to multiple heroes. Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, Batman adjacent. It's a Batman project. I don't count that.
I wouldn't say it's a Batman project. I say it's more like because most of majority of the villains was Batman villains on the roster.
You've got Killer Croc, Deadshot, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like who? Like it had. All right, it has Captain Boomerang, a Flash villain. Okay, whatever. But like, it was 3 Batman villains, and Batman, Joker, Batman's girlfriend. Oh, sorry, Joker's girlfriend. Like, so that for me doesn't really count as a. I'm just saying, like ones that like. I think Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman was never a risk. I don't know why they thought Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was not a risk at all. I don't think it was a. That's probably the safest female character hero that you can do.
Yeah,
fine. I think more of a risk is doing someone like bringing Power Girl to the big screen, the way she's supposed to be. That's more of a risk. Absolutely. Supergirl, that's something safe to do. Because you have to remember, you have to factor in the popularity of some of these female heroes. Like, let's look at the most popular female DC heroes that people can name. I guarantee you it's Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and that's it.
Batwoman, Batgirl.
Batgirl.
But the point here is that so with the DCEU, every time they've tried to veer away and do something different from Batman, I'll count even Watchmen as well. Something like Watchmen, they've been fucking punished for it.
Yeah,
like in terms,
Watchmen was a really good movie too.
Aquaman was the only one where like real love was shown, like in terms of box office, that was an actual risk they took.
Wonder,
Wonder Woman, I will say,
yeah, you're right. It's not Aquaman for sure. Risk.
Aquaman's a risk. We'll see how Flash does, right? Even though that's like got a lot of Batman in it, I'll still count that because it's like ultimately should be a Flash story. I hope it focuses more on Flash than Batman. I'm hoping. So yeah, I mean, I just think that we have pushed, and I feel bad because I was the one saying like, yeah, Shazam out there, and I grant that they didn't do it in a good order, that they should have done it in an order that made sense. So they should have done Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Justice League, Shazam, etc., right? Um, Aquaman maybe after Shazam, Wonder Woman 2, blah blah blah. So they didn't do it in the greatest order. But that being said, as comic book fans and as supposed DC fans, we should have been like, oh, at least they're like trying to put other characters out there other than Batman. And these movies are not that bad. I'm sorry, like all of the solo ones outside of Wonder Woman 84 have not been that bad. Like Aquaman was fairly good. Shazam definitely.
It's just a universe itself that's just messy because the
Yeah,
foundation of what Zach built it on was because you for example, like prime example, the dark side thing. Like, I'm sorry, that gap of time he had dark side lose and then wait to come back and do something. It's like not even Thanos had that big of a gap. Yeah, Thanos waited to get the stones. He could have got him in Avengers 1 probably, but he didn't wait over 3,000 years to come through. That's what I say. It was like,
well, I don't think. Look, I think that it was messy to a degree, but it still could have been. Um, it's you. It's still, if they had just moved on with the universe, maybe not bring the Zack Snyder back, but moved on with the universe, they still could have salvaged from Justice League what was there. Just do the Flash movie, then do a Green Lantern movie, then do like a Superman 2 movie. I don't think it was. They just needed to do things quicker. That's the problem. Like if for every one movie they came out with, Marvel had already done like 5.
yeah, well,
And
that was also the other problem too, because you look at 2013, when BVS came out 2016, that's 2 years of no DC movies. Mind you,
it,
movies do take at least a year and a couple
but
months.
why were they only doing one? Why were they just doing BVS? Why weren't they doing BVS, Wonder Woman, Flash? Like they should have been doing all of that
Oh
at
no,
the
yeah,
same.
I agree. Like if you want to, there's like quality is always important, but you do need to have the quantity too. You need to do both. Like the MCU, the reason like me and you said this, they oversaturated the market because they put out so much stuff that it's like, even though it's not saying that's good quality that they're doing, but they put out so much content, and compared to other people, they kind of just like they're overtaking the competition because they're putting out so much, and then they're also hogging a bunch of these seats in the theaters.
Right.
So it's like
But
if you want to match your competition, you still need to have great quality, come out with some great stuff, but you also need to match their quantity to an extent.
right, I don't believe in the quantity over quality thing.
No, I don't either. I would say there you need to have a good balance. There needs to be a balance in
DC could have
between those
at
both.
least had 2 movies for every 4 movies that Marvel put out.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they had 2 movies for every 4, but they focused more on the quality of those movies, so they made sure that they were like prestige projects with great directors, you know, who had like their own visions and whatever, but they still, all you had to do was connect all of these stories that the directors were doing through post credits. You say, do what you want as long as you know you don't like fuck up the character and what you know, you don't make like Shazam wear like green clothes or you know have like X-ray vision or something like that. Like do the character, like take the story as you want to do it, but like be respectful of the mythology, right?
Always gotta be.
You could have said do that. Matt Reeves did that. What's his name? The Shazam director did that. They were respectful of the mythology, but they basically told their own story. And then have a team that just deals with post-credit scenes that connect these stories. Like, say, you don't have to worry about post-credit scenes. We'll do the post-credit scenes. And that's it. I think that would have worked. And then you could have had director-driven stories, you know, where it's like it's their film, it's what they want to say about the character, and you could have got those good directors, but I think it's too late now. Honestly, I really think Gunn, even if he does a really good universe, I think it's gonna suffer because the only people who are still interested in these comic book movies are hardcore MCU fans. And they're the ones who will keep coming back to inferior films. So, like the Batman, by all measure, if the Batman came out, the Batman movie came out years ago, if that came out in the 90s, that would have taken over pop culture. People would have been raving about that shit. If that came out in, you know, the early 2000s, people would have been raving about that shit. You know, like that would have been like a billion and a half, right? But now people associate comic book movies with MCU. And the MCU fans, as I've told you, they're not interested in really giving DC a chance. DC movies a chance at all.
But you know? That's why it's the matters of the start. It's like Man of Steel came out too mixed. Superman Legacy, while I think Gunn is the right person to appeal to a larger audience, it needs to come out good out the gate. It needs to start off good, right? Because you need to get people invested. Man of Steel, kind of had people like, it was, Man of Steel did not do what BVS did. Let's make that clear. It just had a very mixed reception to it. But that mixed reception came with this mixed audience, because it's like, let's wait it out until the next movie, see how I really feel about Man of Steel. BVS comes out, people look at Man of Steel, go like, is it really that good? I mean, BVS, it was supposed to elevate from here. It's the same thing happened with episode 7 and episode 8. You know, people, when we seen episode 7, we was like, okay, hopefully episode 8, you know, kind of like answer some questions and fix some stuff. And episode 8 came out, and yeah, you need to come out the gate good for the most part. You need to pull people in from jump. If you don't pull people in from jump, like you're kind of going to be dead on arrival.
I don't think the MCU was really like that great when it began. It wasn't.
No, but if you compare Iron Man 1's reception to Man of Steel reception,
it started off Iron Man 1. Yeah, but more people. Man of Steel did more money than Iron Man.
But people was more. It did more money in the box office. Yeah, I remember people watched it at home too.
It did more box office than Thor, Captain America, and Hulk. So it wasn't a terrible start. Like, they should have just diversified.
I'm saying it was not saying it was bad. It was a very mixed start. It was not the start.
Here's another problem with W.
Man of Steel should have appealed to a larger audience. Yes, it still be different, but it should have appealed to the masses.
Sure, they were expecting $1 billion. I get that.
No, but not even $1 billion, but it should have just appealed to, like, not even Iron Man 1 made $1 billion, but it appealed to more people. Spider-Man 1 didn't make it made 800 million at the time, but it appealed to a lot of people.
Same with Batman Begins. It appealed
Batman Begins to also appeal. It didn't make a lot of money. It made less than Superman Returns, but it appealed to a lot of people. But still, Batman Begins was so different than what people usually expect of what Batman should be, but still appealed to a lot of people.
But
Man, it should have tried to appeal to more
fans. I get that. But here's another thing that was really stupid that they did. And it's Warner Brothers' big problem. They get one director and they become in like almost
infatuated
with just one director. And it's like, I'm not gonna try, like, oh, do Superman and do Batman v Superman and do Justice League. It's like, dude, just let him do Superman. Even if he was fucking up Superman, just let him do Superman. Let somebody else do something else. Let somebody else do the Batman. Why weren't they approaching someone like Matt Reeves back then for a Batman movie? Or, do you know what I mean? It's like you need to
that's why I do
and get different directors doing different shit, so that you're not just tied to one character and one thing, for like ages. I don't know why when Batman Begins and Batman kicked off like that, like The Dark Knight, by the time of The Dark Knight, when that exploded, they should have known, oh, superheroes can make like lots of money. But they were thinking, and I know what WB were thinking, they were thinking, oh, it's Batman. It's the Batman effect. And it's not superheroes, it's Batman. But the Marvel people were smart enough to know, no, this is people like these guys in capes right now. They, this reminds them of their childhood. This is, let's bring out our own thing. And it wasn't until they saw, oh, so an Iron Man can succeed? Oh, Thor can succeed? That they realized, we should now bring out Wonder Woman, who's even bigger than Thor and fucking, all of these guys. So it's just that it goes back to Warner Brothers and DC's lack of belief in any other character apart from Batman and Superman. That's why they were delaying and delaying and delaying and testing and testing and testing the waters. And they've taken too long. They've taken too long testing these waters, quite frankly. And I don't know that I don't know if they can recover from how long they've taken, because I don't think superheroes, they're more popular than ever, but they're not cool anymore. That's the difference.
I mean, I don't know. I really like the combo. I think it was just a bad movie thing, because look at the Guardians 3 box office.
It wasn't a bad movie thing. DC's movies were.
I mean, I'm not saying Shazam 2 was bad. I mean, Ant-Man 3, that's the Ant-Man 3 was shit. Shazam 2 wasn't bad, but Warner Brothers themselves fucked over Shazam 2. I don't even blame the director. I blame Warner Brothers for pushing the movie back twice, not marketing it. Because we've seen what happens when you push back your movie. We seen what happened to New Mutants. It got pushed back 4 times. Well, actually 6. And look what happened to New Mutants. It made no money. Made barely any money, because you push back the movie so many times. People forgot when it was coming out. People forgot,
You're right about that.
Because they pushed the movie back twice, which I understand why they did COVID. But okay, if you're gonna do that, at least market it. Because I was so pissed when they didn't even play an actual trailer at the Super Bowl like they did for Flash. I'm not saying pick one or the other, but just market them both. Shazam's not on Flash's level, but these are DC characters, and they're talking about they want to care about the DC brand, then promote it as so. Promote it as a Flash movie.
I think, again, when Wonder Woman got popular, when Shazam had such good critical acclaim, that would have been a perfect launching point to do a TV show or an animated series to keep those characters in people's minds while they were absent from the big screen. You know, like that's what I think is lacking in terms of the cohesiveness. Like Wonder Woman was a big time phenomena. It kicked off like the way Wonder Woman kicked off, it was almost um not quite, well, it was on the same level in some ways as Black Panther. Like you had her doing Gal Gadot doing Saturday Night Live, you know, people were like knowing about Amazons, and like nobody really knew too much about Wonder Woman's mythology before. They knew they liked her, they knew about the lasso and the bullets and whatever, but all of a sudden I'm hearing people talking about, oh yeah, and she's an Amazon and the island and like normal people talking about this stuff. So they could have used that to do like an animated series, keep her in the conversation. When you don't do that, that's what happens with characters like Shazam, where I don't think people know the Shazam story or know what the Shazam character is about, even from the first movie. Because if they knew what it was about, they would know that storyline of Darla getting control of the unicorns through throwing Skittles or whatever is exactly what would happen in a Shazam comic. And they would have been like, they would have felt like me seeing that on screen, like, oh my God, they actually did something like that. Like they went there. They didn't try and, like kind of sugarcoat it and try and make it like, more kind, add more realism, or they just went for a fully comic booky kind of storyline with this character. So that's what I'm saying. I just think that's why I think Flash is going to do better as well, because of the Flash TV show. Because the Flash has been, even that shitty CW TV show has its fan base.
Hey, first 3 seasons are solid. All right, the rest I can't vouch for. But you I can't vouch for the rest. I'll vouch for the first 3 seasons. But go ahead.
Yeah, it has its fan base, and people are like, oh, there's going to be a Flash movie now,
Right.
and they're going to want
to. This is what I say. I kind of wish the series finale ended closer to the release date, but the series finale for Flash was this week. I wish they kind of did it the week before Flash comes out, because you take Flash fans from that show, like, man, Flash is done. Like, no, it's a movie right here. Segue them right into that strategy. Right. It's very strategic. That's why I hope same thing with Superman and Lois. If they decide to do one more season, release that season like a couple months before Superman Legacy, have it end the week before, and right in Superman Legacy, you have the Superman fans that like Superman and Lois, like, man, I need some Superman content. Superman Legacy is right around the corner. Go ahead and watch it. Yeah. Like you, even if the stuff that is out kind of hurts the name a little bit, just having a Flash TV show itself helped bring some people into learning about Flash. Like, I'm sorry, but "Run Barry Run" is kind of a iconic line right now in the pop culture world. If "Run Barry Run" is an iconic line. I mean, people are always like joking about Barry messing up the timeline. That's because they watched the TV show,
right?
Like, oh, Barry messed up the timeline again. You have those memes and everything. Not saying they're making fun of the Flash, but it's exposure that helps.
Mythology around it, and then when you see something like weird, like Barry has a ring that has his suit in it, it's not going to be like a shock to the system when you go and see the movie where people are like, that's fucking goofy. He has his suit in his ring, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Because people will know that it's not just done for cynical reasons, it's actually done to embrace the comic book material. So yeah, even Wonder Woman 84, as bad as that was, I think that would have been received better if, you know, people knew, oh, well, there is certain Wonder Woman stories that are goofy like that. You know, like where like none of it makes sense and she just, you know, it's not my favorite version of Wonder Woman, but there are versions of Wonder Woman where they really embrace the campiness of the 70s show and that, you know, whole presentation of Wonder Woman. Right. So if there was a TV show or a cartoon that embraced that, then people might have even like slightly enjoyed it more. Like, oh, okay, so it's embracing that campy element of Wonder Woman, you know, like
that's why, you know, a lot of the, you know, even for me to get into DC comics, like it took watching the Superman animated series, Batman the animated series, getting this exposed to this other content. While they're not the original source material, but it encouraged me. Okay, I want to go check out see where these characters came from. You know, watching some of the Wonder Woman show, a little bit of Lois and Clark. I didn't really like some of it, but just a little bit.
Lois and Clark was fine.
Seeing some of this stuff, even if it's good or bad, just more exposure helps to get people to check out where it originally came from. You know, to actually do your research and go out there seek that information. That's why, you know, hey, even if the Flash TV show did not end the way people maybe not wanted to, I give that show, I appreciate that show for just even doing that with the Flash for 11 years.
All I'm saying is you should strike when the iron is hot, as they say.
Yes.
Don't like wait. Like basically, the MCU is over, and for many people, that is like comic book movies are over. That's what I feel like the fatigue is. I know the MCU is still limping on, and you know, like even Guardians of the Galaxy 3 even had like a big box office and all of that kind of stuff. But when you really think about it, like that Endgame shit was like the conclusion to many people of the major story. Now it's just sprawling off into all directions, right? And a lot of people can't keep up, you know? So DC needed to be challenging the MCU then. That's when it's exciting, you know, and that's when you could have those kind of nerdy debates like, oh, could the Justice League beat the Avengers or the Avengers beat the Justice League and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't have that now because they're building their universe after the main gods of Avengers have already like flourished and told a complete story. So I'll see. I mean, I'm curious how James Gunn is going to do and how James Gunn's universe is going to do, but I don't think he matches the tone of DC Comics at all. Really, I think they should have probably gone with Andy Muschietti. From everything I've heard about the Flash and what
I mean, I still need to watch the movie for because I need to watch the Flash first to see, you know, what Andy. From the trailers I've liked what I have seen so far, but I still need to see.
Yeah, I need to see it, but like at the same time, I'm just saying if
because you know we seen like I seen
WB
is seen Gunn's work.
If the owner of WB is now saying, or the CEO or whatever is now saying, this is the best fucking comic book movie I've ever seen in my life. So why would you not go with the guy who made the best comic book movie you've ever seen in your life? Why would you go with like somebody from the competition, and especially because
I mean, that's what I've been saying. David Zaslav wants to capture that MCU success. That's why he even asked Kevin Feige to come work for him. It's like he has a guy that knows the blueprint.
He doesn't know.
I mean, he has a guy that crafted most of. I mean, if it wasn't, he did literally crafted the Infinity Stone. He set up the Infinity Stone origin stuff, which they needed to do the MCU the way they needed to.
Like, in the end of the day, like that was Kevin Feige. Like that.
I wouldn't give Kevin. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you.
Made movies, dude. That's what he did. He made 3 good, solid movies. They're not some of the best comic book movies of all time, in my opinion. They might round around. So number 3,
unlike Kevin, I mean, he can make movies. Kevin Feige cannot. We haven't seen Kevin Feige make one movie to save his life. We haven't even seen him make a movie. You just seen him produce stuff.
Sure.
Because that's the thing. I want to see Kevin Feige direct an MCU movie. I want to see that. Not like I'm being serious. I'm not joking. Because remember, he was rumored to direct a Star Wars movie.
No, he wasn't.
I never seen him direct anything. He produced a lot of stuff, which is cool. But I want to see him make a movie, like make his own MCU movie, and let's see how much of a mastermind he really is. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I think Ike Perlmutter and Feige, if they were to get along, the MCU would have been in a lot better state right now.
Yeah,
because they had 2 opposing ideals. Because when Ike Perlmutter left, I don't know, man. MCU kind of went.
Yeah, I think
Phase 4 is all Feige, mind you. Phase 4 is all Feige.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is that Feige did great family comic book movies, like comic book movies, fun for all the family kind of movies. But I don't know that that's what DC should be doing. I think DC should be like.
I mean, I don't think Gunn's gonna do, because look at Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. Those was in family movies. Like Peacemaker is that's not even a show for kids. It's a comedy, but that is not a show for kids. I would not let my nephews and nieces watch that.
That's nothing to do with Feige. That's to do with James Gunn. I'm talking about what Feige made movies that were fun for all the family kind of movies.
Right.
They were the 4 quadrant movies, as one of our friends used to always say. But I don't know that is the only type of comic book movies that interest people. I think there's a market out there for comic book movies that maybe are a little bit deeper or a little bit more.
What
like.
We'll see. That's why I think right now the way they have it, Gunn has it set up so far with him and Peter. Like, I think they're going to give us a variety. Because I mean, look at, they're still allowing Joker 2 and the Batman 2 to come out the way they are. The Joker 2 is going to be a musical. The Batman 2 is going to be. It's not your typical traditional Batman stuff. That is because even the Batman, like me and you said, kind of a little risky doing that. In a Batman movie with barely any action in it, focusing on his detective aspect. Like, is people really going to like this movie? And a lot of people like that. Because I think you have to present people this stuff. You have to present these aspects to these people to get them engaged. Because if you don't, if we never explored a Batman detective focused movie, then you're gonna get a lot of people saying, I don't want to see Batman being a detective. I want to see Batman punching stuff all the time.
Right.
Because if they never really, that's why I appreciate what Matt Reeves did, and allowing the Batman 2 to come out, like letting Batman do more detective stuff. And then in the DCU, you have your traditional comic booky Batman that because I'm Batman powers.
I still think that's a huge mistake. I think that's a huge mistake, putting another Batman franchise out at the same time as Matt Reeves' franchise. I really do. I think that's going to cause them all sorts of problems with the oh, this is the real Batman and all of that kind of nerdy
I think it's fine. That's nerds. They're gonna argue. They're gonna argue about that anyways. But
I mean,
people's already doing it with Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson walked away with 700, a movie that made over 700 million.
Yeah, but that's not, that should have made $1 billion.
I can see. I can see why it didn't make $1 billion. Like, there's some stuff Matt needs to clean up with. Like, he needs to decrease that runtime a bit. He needs to decrease that runtime.
He needs to clean up his action. His action
and the action too. I guarantee you, if it had more hard hitting action, it would have definitely hit that. Probably went to that $1 billion mark.
Yeah,
the movie was already, the story was good, but it needed some more intense action, and that there was parts of it that felt too slow.
If every action scene was like the final action scene, I think it would have done really, like, it would have clocked.
I agree on that.
Because the last action scene was actually really well done. I thought that was like that was the Batman that I'd been wanting to see the whole movie. You know, like stealthy, has some gadgets, has, you know, like can fuck up like a whole group of people, you know, like
right.
I thought that was really well done. But like yeah, it in the end of the day, the major thing for me is that you could have just put Batman in the Justice League and focused on getting Green Lantern out as a movie, focused on, you know, fixing what Patty Jenkins broke with Wonder Woman. You know, like they're talking about Andy Muschietti doing the Batman movie. I'm like, why? What? And I know, you know, I might go into this Flash movie and see how cool he makes Batman move, and you know how he directs Batman, and think, oh yeah, I can see why they're saying that. But he could do that for Wonder Woman. He could do that for, you know, I don't think he should do Green Lantern necessarily, but he could do that for a Flash too. You know, I think they need to focus on those other characters. And, you know, Batman's already got his representation with the Matt Reeves stuff. Leave it at that. And then just put Batman in the Justice League. And I still think they could still do it so it's like an alternative world Batman, where it's still Robert Pattinson, but it's just a multiverse. You know, like essentially he exists in the Matt Reeves universe.
Yeah.
And then he's Batman in the Justice League of the new DCU. Right? But like he doesn't have his own movies. I really think that
I'd say, I mean, because I like the approach of you know, one actor for a specific character. Well, one actor for all the characters throughout their animation, live action, even what if they do connect to video games. I don't know how I feel about. I guarantee you that would be cause even more division and more arguments. Like, oh, Robert Pattinson has a fantastical Batman is so much better than Robert Pattinson as this Batman who barely fights and stuff. I don't know, I think it'd be because it's like.
But I'm saying that he doesn't have his own movies, though. Not this Batman in the DCU doesn't have his own movies. He just has, like,
he features in other stuff.
Centric Justice League movies. Like, so for instance, the first Justice League could be like the Tower of Babel. Yeah. So at least it's like Batman centric. So you have Green Lantern set up, you have like Martian Manhunter set up, you have Wonder Woman, all of that set up. Superman. and then do a Tower of Babel story, but like have Robert Pattinson play the Batman in that story. I think that's fine. I don't
I mean,
see
I'd still want Batman to get his own. I want every like
have his own
I want
franchise.
all I want all the big tempo Justice characters to get their, even Batman to get their movies and show up in Justice League, because I want the Justice League films to try and focus on every single character.
Fine. Should he be the second movie? Because I don't think he should be the second movie. They could have waited to do the Batman movie after Justice League. So you know, you look at the slate. There's only
the authorities after Superman. I mean, the authorities after Superman.
Why are you doing Authority? That's what I'm saying. I don't get it. Why Authority movie? What? Who are they?
But that's the thing. You need to like. I want to see the main characters. I want to see other characters too. Like, you need to expose us to more DC than just the main people. But we do have to acknowledge that this first phase is a Wonder Woman TV show about the Amazons, just about Wonder Woman, a Batman movie, a Green Lantern show, a Superman movie, and you got all the other characters. Like, I'm okay with it all existing, because this first phase still has Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman in it.
They need to make money, dude. You make money in cinema. Streaming is like, I mean, it's true that streaming may well be the future and whatever. But in terms of their superheroes, I really think like Green Lantern and Wonder Woman should be movies. They should be movies.
I'm not saying we're not going to get a Wonder Woman. We're going to get a Green Lantern movie, but I'm not against them fleshing out the Green Lanterns to a TV show. It depends how they, but it also depends how they market it.
If a movie's straight after, perfect. But like,
okay, look at it like this. WandaVision brought. Let's look at this. WandaVision brought a big audience of people to Doctor Strange 2.
Sure.
It brought a lot of those people that even don't really watch that like WandaVision, brought them to Doctor Strange 2. Doctor Strange 2 didn't come out right after WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
It depends how you. It's all about mismarketing too. If they don't market the TV shows like they matter, then nobody's not really going to give a fuck. But I imagine they will. It's like this is the first time we have even
TV show. Why is The Authority a movie rather than a TV show? Because to me, that should be the TV show. I
don't know, because remember that rumor going around of a Superman versus the Authority? You saw that? Remember that?
But Swamp Thing, again, TV show, that screams to me TV show. I might be completely off base, and when I see it, it's going to be like amazing. But it's more James Gunn injecting his like, oh, I like strange creatures and I'm attracted to like the oddball characters and da 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 da. And it's like that works for a franchise movie, but like for a universe, we need the main fucking characters. Don't give me this bullshit. We've been waiting ages for like Martian Manhunter. And to be fair, I don't even care anymore. I'll still go out and support DC movies, but I'm happy. Like, the only character that I haven't seen that I wanted on the big screen now is Martian Manhunter. Every other character I've ever wanted, like they gave me my Shazam, they gave me my Wonder Woman. I'm getting Flash. I'm happy. I really don't give a fuck. So I'll go and see the movies like from now on, whatever James Gunn does with this universe. But in my opinion, I just don't think it's I've even got my Batman Riddler movie. All that's left is Superman Brainiac movie and a Martian Manhunter movie, and I've seen everything I want to see in comic book movies on the big screen. So, again, to me, I'm not as invested now in these comic book movies at all. Like I feel like the time has passed. There was a time right after The Dark Knight. That's when they should have been doing all of this shit, and they didn't. So
I mean, yeah. I'm not disagreeing. Like, we should have got that Justice League more than we did. We should have got a lot of stuff, but I still think there's opportunity still for DC to, because, like I said, the MCU, and we both agree, they built themselves up to where, like, okay, they can survive in this landscape. They can, they got their hardcore fans show up, giving their 500 million and dip. But now, since they're at a point where they have not really peaked again, DC can sneak in and do what they need to do. Like, I still think if Superman Legacy comes out the gate solid, we're off to a good start. The reception needs to be on point, and the money needs to match. Like, you need to have money and reception that lines up. It can't just be. I don't want it to be, it makes less money, but it gets a lot of reception, or it makes, if it makes more money and gets like really good reception, not like, but if really good reception, I'm fine with that.
If it has DC in front of it and it's not Booster Gold, then I'm absolutely fine with, or Blue Beetle. I'll go and watch those movies once. Right, I'm not gonna be going like 8 times to watch fucking, unless it's an amazing movie. Unless they're amazing movies, Blue Beetle and what's it called? The Authority. If they're amazing, then I might watch it twice or whatever. But to me, it's just not so interesting. I'll go and watch them because it's got DC in the front of it. But the rest of them,
I mean, with the Authority, I think they are a perfect team to have in this universe they're doing to chat. That's why I say I think the Justice League we're going to get is going to be a traditional Justice League, obviously, and the Authorities will be that Justice League that's not even of their ideals. Because, I mean, look at the Authority. The two main characters is literally Batman and Superman, but for their Justice League team. Like, they're literally based on Batman.
They're trying to do this Superman, what's it called? Who cares about the Steel anymore? Or who cares about Truth, Justice, and the American Way anymore, or whatever? I can't remember what the Superman animated movie is called. It's really good, but I know that's what they're trying to do. But they're switching those characters.
Well, they did change. They changed that slogan in the comic. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the slogan in the comic. Not sure if you've seen it.
No.
It's now Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow or something. Let me see.
Oh yeah. I know about that.
Yeah, Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow now. Which I'm okay with it. It makes more sense. Superman's an international hero. He's not just an American.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I still like going the American way better.
I prefer for it to be, because I don't think the American way is completely bad. Our country is definitely does some questionable stuff. We have a very questionable history. We do, but I don't think the American way is completely bad because, hey, in this country, I'll guarantee this: if women will not get stoned for trying to go to school. Like in some other countries, there's still some messed up stuff in this country, but you wouldn't see a woman get stoned for trying to get an education or get her driver's license.
Right. But here's my thing: I don't think that it's a bad slogan, because I think you can explore what that means. When you say Truth, Justice, and the American, it's just like Captain America, Winter Soldier. Just because he's Captain America doesn't mean you cannot explore themes that challenge his belief in America.
Right, because because the American ideal is not, it may not be exactly portrayed through, because there's so many people in this country that have so many different ideals, but you can still have a main ideal that you strive for. And like you say, you use Captain America and Superman to explain what the ideal American should be.
Right.
Which is like Superman, this kid from Kansas, very nice, everybody, very humble, respectful, respectful of everyone, whether their sex, gender, ideology, religion, whatever. Show what it means to be a true American. Because the way America is, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the way America is in general is the proper American way, because I have a different definition of what the American way is. Everybody has their own definition of what the American way is. And even in your country, you guys probably have set ideals, but not everybody agrees with the same ideals, because we have a two-party system in our country. We have more parties, but both our parties cannot come to agreement on what the American way is.
Right.
Because everyone has a different idea of what the American way is.
No, absolutely. And I, as I said, I think that Superman can be used as a kind of way to explore the dark side and the positive side of that by being, as you said, what it should be, but acknowledging at the same time that it isn't that way and that something has to change. So that's what Captain America does in Winter Soldier, for instance. He is the American ideal, but he also sees that America's kind of gone off the rails in terms of what it should be doing. But yeah, I think that's a good conversation. You're on mute.
Real quick, Nerman, I want to ask you a question, and I do want to show you something.
Okay.
All right, let me show you this first. All right, so this is supposedly a rumored look. This is not true. Well, it may be true. I don't know yet. It's a rumored look, but this is supposedly Sam's new suit for Captain America 4. How do you feel about it?
It's good, isn't it?
Do you remember his Falcon and the Winter Soldier suit?
I thought you were going to show me something terrible. I think it's good, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's bad. That's not. I don't think it's bad. I just think it looks too much like a Steve Rogers suit. I think his suit from his shows was a little bit more unique to him. Not saying it still had the same red, still red, white, and blue like Cap has, but this looks more like a Steve Rogers suit to me.
I think it looks good.
I think it looks. I don't think it looks bad. It's just it doesn't stand out.
It looks different enough to me. I don't think it looks exactly like Steve's suit, but it's like this is his Captain America. My concern with his Captain America is I just want him to keep his personality. I don't want him to change into this idea.
Yeah, I don't want him to be like Steve
or whatever. Or like, he was a funny guy. He was like more of a chilled out, relaxed kind of guy. And in a way, that is part of an American, something we associate with America, like easygoing, laid back, funny, whatever kind of guy. So he can be his own Captain America. I don't want him to be trying to like bite off Steve's style by being like super heroic, like he'll never back down. He'll never, like all of that kind of stuff. I don't think that's that character.
Right.
He's more of the kind of character who's gonna like, fight Spider-Man, but be like throwing like, going back and forth with Spider-Man, like throwing, zingers or witty one-liners or whatever. But I think the suit's good. I don't like. I hope he still has his wings, right?
He should. I don't know. They didn't show what the new wings look like, but this is possibly what his suit might look like. They did release the set photos of what his suit kind of looks like, but They only showed the top half of his suit in the leaked set photos, but he has a new suit. But honestly, well, never mind. Let me ask you this: do you think toy sales, well, toys in general, have hurt comic book movies in some way?
Why?
Well, this reason I asked this and say it. So we got introduced to Cap's suit. It's Falcon suit in Falcon Winter Soldier. You got this new suit. He had it for like one episode. Okay. And we get introduced to Kamala Khan in Ms. Marvel. She gets her comic suit, and she gets it for one episode. Now you look at the Marvels, she got a new suit immediately after this suit that we just seen for one movie. And then you look at,
for instance, the new suit, like the black suit, after he looked really cool in the gold and green.
Well, he's gonna have both suits. He's gonna have both suits in the movie.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but still, like that, you're not saying you're wrong, because I think these toys, and mind you, they need to sell toys, right? And they can't keep. There's only so many toys you can sell. Remember when the Incredible Hulk movie came out, and they were selling Hulk toys, right? And they were selling like Hulk with those Hulk fists, Hulk with the car fist, and Hulk with the tank, using the tank's fist fighting Blonsky. But Hulk looked the same on all the toys, and there was limited variation in what they do. So what they started doing, they were selling Hulk toys associated with the movie of designs of Hulks that was not in the movie. Like you had Joe Fixit Hulk, and which wasn't bad. It didn't harm the movie. But if these movies are being, I don't know, I just don't like that these toys is kind of affecting how we see these.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because I
hate movies, and that's what I don't. The MCU I've had a problem with, because I think they did what Batman and Robin wanted to do, but better.
Right.
They turned comic book movies into like this big, like, oh, you have this toy, you have your Iron Man toy, and look at what Iron Man he can turn into a Hulkbuster, and then he's got the Nanobat Iron Man and this Iron Man, and I really think that's why they chose Blue Beetle. I think Warner Brothers was like, oh yeah, this is a character that can sell loads of toys like Iron Man, and it's why they keep
Blue Beetle
Spider-Man suit. It's like, oh look, Spider-Man in the monkey suit and the Spider-Man in the Doctor Strange Spider-Man suit. It's like,
right.
I get it, but for me, that
like I want to see superhero suits evolve.
They have to do what they have to do, but
yeah, and I do want to see superhero suits evolve.
Like to come first, not like this need to like sell fucking toys. That's what Wonder Woman 84 is a perfect example of that. Like the story did not come first. She was thinking, oh, there'll be toy sales, there'll be merchandise sales of the golden suit. Like, let's not look at what the golden suit is for, or what Wonder Woman used it for specifically in her comic. We're just gonna throw out the golden suit there. It's like, yeah.
Like I'm not, even though I was not, I think they could have definitely modified this suit a little bit more. But I think for the most part, it should have stayed somewhat like this. Like, I think the suit stands out a little bit more compared to someone like Steve's. The white is more apparent.
Yeah.
A brother making the white more apparent.
Yeah. Up with that. Oh, all right, man. But yeah, I like it. Any other thing you want to say before we leave?
Oh yeah, well we're gonna close down on this. I will be seeing the Flash Monday. If I can, we will probably do a stream Tuesday, or maybe because I'm watching 6:30. So hopefully I get home in time. We probably do a 2-hour stream where I do it spoiler free. But if I don't, for sure we'll do it Tuesday. But I'm watching it Monday. and I'll get back to you guys on Tuesday with what I think.
So annoyed, man. Like, do you know how long I have to wait?
Nerman, mind you, I had to desperately see it. I'm telling you, because when the movie comes out, I'm gonna be on my cruise. So I can't watch it for 5 days. That's why I'm glad I'm watching it early so I don't get spoiled.
Yeah. Because I've got to wait till the 25th or 24th. I'm sure it usually comes out like 2 days before, yeah.
Yeah, so it comes out, on the 16th, so you can watch it on the 15th.
On the 15th or 14th. That's a long time away, man. Like, I don't want to. I feel like just sleeping until then. I don't want to. I want to just sleep till the 16th.
I want to be able to avoid the internet, but I know I can't. So I'm glad I'm watching it now because ain't no way I'll be able to avoid the internet those days of Flash came out because I really want to see what the reception is going to be. Like I'm very.
I can't wait to stuff the Ezra Miller hate down people's fucking throats. I wish it could have been even more beautiful if he hadn't have done all that shit. Because now it's going to be like a caveat. Like all I can say is, see, I told you he wasn't a bad Flash. But before I really could have fucking stuffed it down their throats, like how just the fucking shit you guys were saying, man. He was in like 10 minutes of the fucking movie, and you're judging his whole fucking character.
Well,
people were hating on him from Justice League, from fucking Justice League, like as if there's never been a jokey character in an MCU movie who's obnoxious and annoying.
Well, I mean, that wasn't. I mean, I wasn't against him being jokey. I wasn't against that.
So what was the problem? Oh, just the running. Yeah.
Well, that too, but his reasons for joining the league, that was just horrible.
Oh my god!
At least get Flash something more compelling. But hey, Nerman, I have hopes for Ezra in this movie. I've been giving him chances. I have hopes for this man. I've been saying that Andy Muschietti is about to make him great. He's going to.
Oh no! You can't go back on it now. Don't try and.
I said this. I've been saying this. Andy Muschietti is about to make him.
You as well. I'm gonna
God tier Flash.
Till I can't wait. I'm gonna stuff it down your throat till you love it, bro.
Like, all right, Nerman. Let me ask this: if there's a scene in this Flash movie better than the Flash time travel scene in Zack Snyder Justice League, will you admit it?
No, I think there will be. I'm not gonna say that. I like that scene. I don't think the scene is bad, but I like the scene. I think it's one of the best superhero scenes I've seen ever. But I don't believe that it can't be beaten. Of course, it can be beaten. Like I fully expect it to be, Andy Muschietti to come up with some interesting ways of showing the Flash's powers. Like I'm expecting it, not just So absolutely, I can't wait, man. Can't wait. I think he's going to come up with some really creative Flash action scenes. So
I think he's gonna. I mean, he's already doing the tornadoes and stuff we've seen in the trailer. Yeah. It's a little thing, but it's like shows. Oh, he want to diversify that Flash action. Mm. All right, guys, you ready to close it up, Nerdman?
Yeah, we could close out.
All right, you guys.
I don't even know if anyone's watching.
We got 2 people watching, but people are watching the playback. This was a long, lengthy review, but we got through it. Shouts out to Superhero Day. We'll figure out the next movie we're gonna watch. It's gonna be another superhero movie. Probably might be the 40s Batman movie.
I'm thinking of what comic I want you to read next. Like the first. Like we'll always just do the first. How long is a normal comic? It's like also like a issue. It's like 26 pages?
Yeah, I mean, most of the older comics in general, just 26, like 26, 24 pages.
Yeah, okay. So if I get you to read a graphic novel or something like that, I just expect you to read the first 24 pages, not the whole thing. Right. So if I say read like something like say graphic novel. And I think the next one I want you to read, so we can give people an idea. Should I go Spawn? Nah. I want to say Spawn.
Yeah, then the next comic I'm gonna give you, it won't be. It might be DC related, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a Dark Horse comic. I was saying, get you a Dark Horse comic.
Okay, cool. Because you're usually not reading both of them. Sorry,
Well,
you're usually not
Marvel
reading.
DC.
No, sorry, you're not usually have read the comic already that you've given me, and you're not reading it again, I presume. Yeah.
Well, some of the like, what was the last one I sent you? What's the last one I sent you? Yeah.
This one you sent me was what's it called? The Icon.
No, before Icon.
Oh, the Fantastic Four with the Black Panther.
Okay, well, I already read that one before I sent it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through.
I mean, most of the ones I'll be sending you is ones I probably recently read or I already read it before.
Yeah, I think I might get you to read Dark Knight of Steel. Either that
isn't
or
that Batman comic where he was set in like the medieval times?
yeah, either that or Superman Earth One Volume One, like the first 26 pages of that, because that will be an interesting discussion because that's basically what Man of Steel was based on, and then you can see what they were trying to do with that versus what we actually got, and you're gonna be mad. I'm not gonna lie. So the thing is, could you read like the first like say 16 pages of one and then 16 pages of another? Because if you could do that, I would give you Superman Birthright to read Superman Birthright, the first 16 pages, and then the first 16 pages of Superman Earth One. And then we can have a whole discussion on like what Man of Steel was based on and how well they adapted what it was based on. And yeah, that kind of thing.
That works for me.
Yeah, so I'll give you those two. And what are you thinking of giving me?
I'm gonna send.
Dark
I would say it's gonna be a Predator comic. It's gonna be a Predator comic.
Nice.
Exactly which one, but it's gonna be a Predator comic.
If it's Predator versus Batman, I've already read it.
It's not Predator versus Batman.
Okay.
I already read that one. I already read Predator versus Superman.
If there's a Predator versus Superman?
Yeah, it's I don't even know why it's
because Superman will fucking destroy Predator, right? Like
it was from what it was a unnecessary crossover because it was like it was not engaging. They didn't do it how I thought it would have been done.
Predator versus Judge Dredd. That's an interesting one. I
haven't read that one.
Yeah. I would like to read that one actually because I really like Judge Dredd. Oh, what movie should we watch next time? Should we watch Dredd?
Well, which one? Because I seen the two. I have not seen the Sylvester Stallone one. Well, I tried to watch the first. Okay, so this what happened. I watched the Carl Urban one, right? And I tried to go back and watch Judge Dredd. I turned it off after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's bad.
I couldn't. I tried. You know, it's I
so
tried.
bad.
I tried the best I can. That Carl Urban one is really good.
I'm just trying to think. What would be really good, engaging one to watch for next time?
What about the Fantastic Four? I have not seen the '94 Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, the old one.
Yeah, I've not seen that movie yet.
No, I'm not watching that. Not yet. I'm not putting myself through that after Captain America.
Well, I have not seen Howard the Duck.
Tank Girl. I've never seen Tank Girl.
I haven't seen that either. We could watch the '60s Batman movie. I have not seen.
No. We will do that. We will do that. But I kind of want to switch it up and like watch an actual decent one.
I mean, even comic book movies we haven't seen yet, those be fine too. You know, like
I've watched nearly everyone I want to watch, and the ones that I haven't seen are like you pretty much like everyone says they're terrible. So let me have a look and see. Because I want to do stuff like Meteor Man at some point and whatever, but I just feel like let's have 1 week where we do an actual good one, or one that we can, like, for instance.
Hey, I wish you both have not seen Meteor Man. That would have been perfect. Shit.
We could do Black Widow and then Dread.
Black Widow and then Dread.
Yeah. Like Black Widow 1 week and then Dread the next week. Because
hopefully I hate Black Widow on the second watch. I can't. I can't love these MCU movies like that. Even the ones I love, I have to learn to hate them.
But yeah, so guys, we're either gonna do Dread or Black Widow next week. You know, I even want to do things like Megamind. You know, like at a certain point, Barbarella would be cool. Flash Gordon, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think we should do definitely Dread or Black Widow next week.
Dread or Black Widow, I'm down.
Or last option, X-Men, Dark Phoenix.
I have not seen that one at all. I just seen the ending. Well, I seen the part where she does the Thanos stuff. That's it. But I've not seen that movie in full because I couldn't do it. Okay. I couldn't even attempt to try and do it.
So should we do? We could do X-Men.
Well, we can do Dark Phoenix though, because I have not seen it in full. We can do Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. Dark Phoenix. Okay, we'll do Dark Phoenix next week, but then the week after, let's watch something good like Dread.
Got it.
And yes, so you're gonna do Superman Birthright first 16 pages and Superman Earth 1 first 16 pages.
Yeah, just make sure you DM me those titles and I'll do them, and I'll send you the Predator comic I want you to read.
Okay.
Cool.
And I'm gonna do 26 pages of that comic. You can send me a graphic novel, but it will be the first 26 pages.
I'm gonna send you something with it's not
if I've got time, I'll read more, obviously, but
Cole asked you a question. He said, "What is your favorite Wonder Woman comic, Nerdman?"
She has some pretty good ones. Do you mean what would I recommend for somebody to start off with, or do you mean what is just my favorite Wonder Woman comic in general?
I think you might mean what's just your favorite.
Okay, so the two I would recommend to start off with, if if I was saying like if I was to suggest one is Wonder Woman, the Hecatea, or Wonder Woman, and the Circle. Those are two of my favorite stories of hers. But recently, there was one that I really liked, called Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That's one of my favorites now. It's Black Label, a Wonder Woman story. It's got another Wonder Woman Superman fight, which is badass. Do you want any spoilers? You care about spoilers?
You can totally spoil it for me.
She does like one of the most badass things ever. I won't spoil it. I'll just say this: in Wonder Woman Dead Earth, she does one of the most badass things I've ever seen. Again, like Wonder Woman has got like pretty much the worst comics out of any main superhero, but her best comics are just like when she does something that you're just like, holy shit. Okay, spoilers is fine. So she in this comic uses Superman's spine and skull as a weapon because like she has to fight these
Wait, his spine and skull is a weapon?
Yeah, like it's I know it's ridiculous, but
I'm trying to wonder the context. So I mean, this is like some one-off like story, right?
Okay. It's a one-off story. He's already dead. He's already dead, and she needs to find something that is like the hardest substance or whatever in the world to be able to save the world. And she doesn't like obviously want to, defile her friend's body, but she knows that like he would, approve.
He would be okay with it
if it was to help her save the world. So she actually takes his spine and his skull and uses it as like, what do they call that weapon? It's like a mace or whatever. Like
a mace, yeah.
Yeah, like where, and it's badass, man. It's pretty badass. So she uses it as well. So yeah. Any Martian Manhunter recommendations? I actually do. So give me a second and I'll tell you. Maybe I even have it on here. I might even have it on my Kindle. Share my screen a second.
Got you.
Wait, let me check I have it.
It was good, Ryan.
Yeah, I do have it. So, Martian Manhunter has really terrible comics. A lot of really terrible comics, unfortunately. But like Wonder Woman, he's just been neglected. He's been really, really neglected as a character by DC.
Heavily neglected.
But I would recommend the Ostrander origin story of Martian Manhunter. But there was also a recent Martian Manhunter series by Steve Orlando that's really, really good.
Damn, 399 pages.
So
that art's familiar.
Yeah.
That art style is very familiar.
So you see him as a detective and how he's like, but you also see the Martian homeworld and how it operates and the politics and everything. So that one's really cool. But the one I was gonna say that is kind of like a classic of Martian Manhunter. I think it's Ostrander. Yeah. This one here. Son of Mars. Very good. His best stories are in the Justice League, I'm not gonna lie. Justice League comics. There was one other one I read. It was all right. The artwork was great, but the story was a bit meandering. Don't know. Yeah, John Ostrander, you can't go wrong with Martian Manhunter and John Ostrander. But there was one that I can't. The Red Rising. I think I read this one as well. But anyway, as I said, the one I showed you on my Kindle is a really, really good story.
Dang, all these people just showing up. What's up, Sinister? Hello, everybody. It was good.
You guys haven't even been talking to us the whole time. And all of a sudden
they just popped up.
Okay. Cool. I have to check it out. Any thoughts on Daniel O'Neill's The Question run? I have never read Danny O'Neill's The Question run, but I did get the Black Label because I've always liked the idea of The Question as a character. I really would love a movie of him or a TV show of The Question. I don't think it would do well in the box office, so I don't think they should pursue that necessarily. But like for my own,
as a TV show, detective TV show.
Yeah, as a detective TV show, I think it would be really good. But I recently read the Black Label Question comic, and that one was really good. I don't know if I have it here. Let's see, I might do, and I can show you guys a little bit of it. I thought I had it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's called
Glad you're here.
This stuff by basically Black Label. If you get anything that isn't Batman, it's really good on Black Label because they're just, one-off stories by creators who just want to tell stories about specific characters. But most of them want to do Batman stories. Like 90% of Black Label is Batman stories. And some of the Batman stories are pretty good as well. But the majority of them are just okay. But when they do other characters in Black Label, they're usually really, really good. So The Question, The Death of Vic Sage, it's a good series. And it explores the kind of because he was created by, I can't remember the comic line, but the guy was basically super right wing guy who was into kind of conspiratorial theories and whatever. I can't remember exactly. Like, he's not libertarian; he's something else, but like a branch of a specific type of right wing kind of thinking. And in this, they kind of explore the politics of The Question as well. So it's actually very interesting.
I hope you like what I say. I'm learning American language.
So
I wish you the best of luck.
I like to read many books. Sometimes I read comic books. I see you read comic books. I like that. When I see you reading books, it makes me happy. I read a lot of books. I mean, if you look at my Kindle, it's not just comic books. I've got like where is it? Yeah, I'll just share that. It's not, yeah, for me, Do you know what I use comic books for? It's really funny because it takes me time to get into reading because there's so much TV and crap like on.
Yeah.
I just bought a whole bunch of comic books recently. That's why the whole top bit is full of comic books. But it takes me a long time to actually
Pillar of Fire.
get into certain books. So because I get distracted by like shows and whatever. So I use comic books because they're like a medium between TV and reading.
Right.
So by reading a comic book, I can get myself into reading, and then I can read an actual book. But yeah, like I have various kind of books. The Bad Popes book that I was reading is really good.
Angola Jenga.
I think it's Chamberlain ER or something. It's this one. But yeah, so I read more than comics. My obviously on my not Kindle, but like on my what do they call it? On bloody hell, what is it called? The reader, the electronic reader. What do they call it? Not Kindle. Bloody
The
hell.
other one.
No, I'm being really stupid now. I don't know why I'm like I've just drawn a blank.
The one I at the moment is Kindle. There's another one that but it's not Kindle.
Like anyway, basically, I have an electronic kind of reader or whatever, a tablet. Basically, I have a tablet where I've got a lot more books on that. But yeah, Kindle I use for comics a lot because you can do that thing where it basically goes right, like you can zoom into a specific panel, and I think that's really cool.
They're actually a lot cheaper cheaper than going to the website. Is most of the comics I bought so far have been like $1.99. Some of them, if you getting like the what's those when I have like a collection of books together. What's those, Nerdman?
The collection of books.
Like you a bunch of issues in one.
Oh, a graphic novel. Or what do you mean?
No, not a graphic. It's another one. It's well, the comics you can buy where it has multiple issues, like you have like the first 9 issues of a run, you can buy those, but they'll cost a little bit more. But if you buy like one issue,
right, I know what you're talking about. Like they don't call it a bundle, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Because my Superman 39 comic, I have first I think 10 issues in it, and it's it's not really a graphic novel.
Yeah, you get the single issues, but but you get them collected together. I know exactly.
Makes it easier to read.
This is what I was talking about, by the way.
Oh shit. He just brutally yanked it out too.
Yeah.
Well, how did Superman die in this comic? Did they explain how he died?
He kills him. I don't want to spoil it, but like. Yeah, so now she uses it as a weapon, essentially. Damn. But yeah, Wonder Woman kills him in the comic. So
you're welcome, Brian. Your nice comment will give you good fortune in future. All right, we're for sure closing it out.
Yeah,
we're gonna close it out on this note. You guys enjoy. Thank y'all for watching. John Earl, the Spinner Man, take it out of here for the audience.
What on earth are you talking about?
Gotta bring it up.
What is he doing now?
We'll let the spinner man close it out for us. Enjoy.
The spinner man.
Miles, even through trials, money. Drive fancy cars, everybody know you. It's like you in trap, breaking down bricks, chopping up.
Thank you all for watching. Have a great night. Shouts to the spinner man. Deuces.